Well, good afternoon. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice or watching me on any social media stream, I don't see myself on YouTube yet, but Facebook or YouTube, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and I am your host on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 1 to 4 p.m. This is going to be a hot show today. I just need to let you know, Brianna had already plugged in a couple of people that were going to be guests, and then over the weekend, when all hell started breaking loose across the city, in the middle of my trying to appreciate the weekend, the holiday weekend, people started calling me with these stories. So I had to start doing a little bit of investigating. This morning I actually made a phone call to one person who hung up on me when I told him exactly why I was calling him and that I was going to be interviewing someone about a piece of property that he owns. I went and visited the property itself. I mean, I have been on it. I was an investigative reporter all weekend long. And then we're going to talk about all the violence in the city, the neo-Nazis marching down Center City. Before I got off the air on Thursday, I read a piece for all of you from the Homeland Security who talked about that we had to be more alert to watch what was going on around us, et cetera, because they're seeing signs that the neo-Nazis and the fascists, I want to say that properly, are popping up out of the woodwork. We saw that they were in Minnesota trying to take over some part of Minnesota. You saw that they were marching down the street in Philly. If one more person sent me that video, I was going to choke. I deliberately did not put it on my social media stream. I wanted people to try and enjoy their weekend while I was doing some work behind the scenes. So we're going to talk about some of this stuff today. I have Melissa Robbins, who's going to come on at 1:45. I keyed into her yesterday afternoon to see if she could give me a little bit of a discussion of what was going on in the city this weekend, this past weekend. I have someone else coming on at 3:30, so it's going to be a full show today. If you want to call and talk to me, now is the time to do it. I will find other ways to plug you in, but I have a pretty full schedule. All right, so let me start here, and it's sad because in the last 2 weeks, 3 of my friends have had their sons. 2 were shot and killed. 1 died in a tragic car accident. And it is very difficult to watch a mother grieve for her child. It is the most unnatural experience. And so I want us to really stop and think, and I'm seeing more and more people on Facebook saying things like, well, the violence has now reached our family. It's a nephew, it's a cousin, it's an uncle, it's an aunt. And so what are we doing? This morning I'm talking to my new neighbor next door who's working on his house, and I said to him, look, he was saying to me, 105 shots, that makes no sense. I said, yeah, because it's an automatic weapon. That wasn't a semi-automatic weapon. You don't spray 105 shots off of a little PP gun, right? And so I was explaining to him that in our community, we watch everything that's going on around us. When we see a car that does not look familiar, we stop and take a picture of the license plate, note the car, the tinted windows, all of it, right? We pay attention. So you can be your own neighborhood watch in your community, so you can help the cops, help the police to solve some of these crimes. We all have Ring camera doorbells. Many of us have cameras around the perimeter of our house. He was shocked when I pointed up into the rafters of my house, and he could see at least 3 of the 5 cameras that surrounds my house. We are not playing over here, right? You always want to make sure, and it's not just for our own safety, but for the safety of others. If something happens in the purview of any one of those cameras, we can easily turn that over to the police, right? That's the kind of stuff that we're talking about, because this is just crazy. This is Philadelphia. This happened, Philadelphia Tribune. This was written July 3rd. Man killed, woman injured in deliberate. A man was killed and a female neighbor was injured in a fire in a South Philadelphia home that investigators said was deliberately set. I don't know who this writer is for the Tribune, but whoo. Police said the male victim was found inside the home after the blaze was reported just before 5:30 a.m. on Saturday. The man wasn't immediately identified, police said. A 90-year-old neighbor was injured while evacuating her home. She was taken to Thomas Jefferson University Hospital in stable condition. Police said the fire marshal was at the scene and declared the blaze an arson. Homicide detectives were notified. So that's one, right? Yeah, it's a lot. It's just so many things going on. And then this one that I saw so many of my friends talking about, that it just really wore me out. 6ABC digital staff, 100 shots fired, 23-year-old store owner friend killed during West Philadelphia cookout. This one shook even the police officers, who said they knew him and had spent quite a bit of time getting to know him in the community and the work that he has done. A triple shooting at a 4th of July barbecue in West Philadelphia left 2 people dead and a teenager in the hospital. Witnesses say at first they mistook the gunshots around 10:30 p.m. Sunday at 60th and Sampson Streets for fireworks. Then they started to run. One of the victims has been identified as 23-year-old Sakar Johnson Jr., the owner of Premier Band, a clothing store in West Philadelphia. He was also a father, a husband, a son, and a brother. I'm praying for his father. I'm praying for his mother. I'm praying for his family, said a friend, Keem Towles, who came by the storefront on Monday morning to pay his respects to Johnson family. Now, I watched that news report right after it was happening, and I watched the father sitting on the steps while they washed his son's blood away. I don't know who was more traumatized looking at that. He just kind of sat there and said, my son did everything that he was doing, all the things that I didn't do in my young life. And so how many more of these deaths are we going to have to deal with? Melissa and I will talk about that too at 1:45. Then there was something else that I saw here. This was written on July 4th. Krasner awards anti-violence grants, say more money available for community groups. Stop it. So this was written by Tom McDonald for the Philadelphia Tribune. Philadelphia's district attorney has awarded a second round of grants to community-based organizations to help fight violence, with plans to distribute more funding within the next 2 months. District Attorney Larry Krasner recently traveled to Vine Memorial Baptist Church to announce $82,000 in grants for 4 community-based organizations. The Kensington Soccer Club received $35,000. CB Community Schools got a check for $27,500. The Gerald Christopher Say Love and Laughter Foundation got $10,000, along with the Potter's House Mission. These groups may be small, but Krasner said they are instrumental in the fight against violence. Far too often, our communities have gotten used to hearing gunshots, said State Rep Morgan Cephas. I had to be on a Zoom call with Overbrook High students who are challenged with the education system during COVID. They had to deal with the loss of 3 of their classmates. I understand that oftentimes that, we're getting to the place where we think that this is normal because it's just so much. But imagine what's happening to these young people as they're dealing with all of this. More than 1,000 people have been shot in Philadelphia so far in 2021, a 24% increase from this time last year. In 2020, gun violence was the leading cause of death among young Black and Latino men, according to the city. The summer is a time when levels of violence tend to rise, and Krasner said with murders and other violent crimes up above a year ago, now is the time to circumvent the issue by helping with money distributed at the grassroots level. Krasner has also joined the Black clergy of Philadelphia and vicinity in calling on the city's biggest businesses and nonprofits to chip in. So far, Krasner's office has given out 9 grants totaling $200,000. The district attorney's office will announce the next round of grant awards within the next 60 days. The grant money comes from civil asset forfeiture or revenue from properties seized from criminal suspects. The money is distributed by the Philadelphia Foundation. Groups interested in applying can email said foundation. All right, so if you want to apply for a grant to help with violence in the city of Philadelphia, please feel free to do that. The Philadelphia Foundation is the one giving out the grants. So let's see, what else is going on? Taylor Allen wrote this again from the Philadelphia Tribune. 35,000 Philly residents have applied for rent relief as spending deadlines loom. Lord have mercy. I can't. Every time, I do this every time, and they do it to me every time. But let me just go ahead and do this. The city of Philadelphia is racing against the clock to disperse state and federal money for its fourth phase of rental assistance before the deadlines. Philadelphia has to use 65% of nearly $57 million, equaling about $37 million of federal funds coming from the state by the end of the month, or else the money has to be returned. Why do we have so much money still sitting there? As of Friday, the city had spent $34 million 3 months into the program's opening. Funds only began reaching applicants' households a few weeks ago. Good God. Prince, how are you doing, sir?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Well, you know, another day in the city of Philadelphia. What's going on?
You want to go down there and get some of that money?
No, sir.
That money's just sitting there. How ridiculous is that?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? 37 million.
That makes no sense, does it?
No, I'm stunned, right? And especially when, I have a young lady coming on who, there was structural damage in her apartment complex, and they got moved out on June 25th. The landlord was asked to make sure from the fire department to make sure that he takes care of his tenants since it's not their fault. And I can't even tell you what he said. I'm interviewing her at 3 o'clock. Why aren't we handing out this money to people who are in dire need of it? What is the holdup, Prince?
Well, you already know. You got lifers. You got those lifetime politicians who's been in there who already have made agreements. There's no way you should have seasoned people like a Vincent Hughes or an Anthony Williams or a congressman like Dwight. It's 60 years. Among all of them, it's 60 years, 20 years between each one of them, and you having this kind of situation. You don't have that with white people or white Republicans, and I don't usually do a color differential. I just say that it's so embarrassing to have these folks up there. And because people follow protocol, the younger people know their place. So they're not overstepping their boundaries when it comes to these state reps who've been there quite some time. And but did you realize that along with this money that's being sent back, did you realize what SEPTA did? What they're trying to do in this city?
With the lien?
Absolutely. So SEPTA is to support the most poorest population of people in order for them to get back and forth by way of transportation to work, correct? So people who work third shifts, second shifts, and I've experienced this in my development when I was coming up, when they had a woman from King of Pressure design the tree layout for our public housing site. And you know what she did, Andrea? Wow. She put thornberry trees in a residential neighborhood. How do you design thornberry trees, which has a 2 to 3 inch extension when they grow to maturity in a residential neighborhood where kids play at?
Wow.
And so I was caught between a rock and a very hard place because my company was new, and I had just borrowed money from PCDC in order to do a certified payroll. So will I have to? And I just hired True Green to teach us how to read the tree blueprint planning.
Right.
And so my fight was: do I fight them that these 46 trees should not be planted in this residential neighborhood, or do I work my guys at the prevailing wage, which is $22 an hour, to plant these trees and get paid for planting these trees? And so the latter outweighed the argument. And so I worked the guys. They made money. We paid. We planted the trees. And then I went back to the owner of the development and said, hey, I made my argument to say, can we prune these trees up to 4 feet, a reasonable height, so the kids will not encounter the thornberry.
The thorns,
and he paid me another $8,900 to prune the tree. And all I'm asking, and I guess George and other folks who, older than I am, is for somebody to step up and find a way of inclusion regardless of the trauma that we're going through. And do you know what a zero turn is, Andrea?
No.
So a zero turn lawnmower is a lawnmower. A weed whacker is a weed whacker. The mere fact that you got a labor a union operated by black people but 70% white people is probably the problem that you have with low-income housing and poor African-American males not knowing how to work a zero turn or a weed whacker or a lawnmower. There's no way you should have a designed population that is poor and keep them ignorant and stupid and unknowledgeable about how to do the basic things. And their competitors, which are maybe the Mexicans, don't even speak the English language, but yet they can work every equipment from a zero turn to an excavator.
Yeah, and in our neighborhoods, they're the ones we see cutting our lawns. You know what I mean?
And
because they've learned.
That's unfair to us. You're absolutely correct.
Yep.
But that's unfair to us. Yo, my man, can I help you?
Yeah.
All right, step back outside there.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God!
Yeah, hello?
All right, I'm here. I got 4 minutes left, and I got Maurice. I guess between you and Maurice.
All right, let me go. I just wanted to say hello and thank you, and I just wanted to say it's a shame that money is out there, and there's a good chance that it's going to go back.
I hope not.
And I'll hang up and listen to you.
All right, thank you. They're claiming that it's going to be gone by the end of the month because at the pace they're going to disperse about $6 to $7 million per week. Only time will tell. Maurice, how are you, sir? Got 4 minutes. What's up?
Hello?
Maurice, I'm here.
Hello? Oh, okay, I got cut off.
Oh, why? Who cut you off?
I don't know. I cut off. As soon as I called back, I got put back on.
What's up, honey?
No. What Prince is saying is so true because, you know, the thing is, I watched one of these shows, Harold James show over the weekend, and Vincent Hughes was on. And they asked him about, I asked him about the money. And he says he's got to figure it out how to get it to the people. Now, he's the finance guy, and he doesn't know how to get it to the people.
So what is the issue? Because $37 million is still sitting there.
Well, remember, he's the one that sends the money back to the prisons, too, you know. See, the problem is that they don't know how to do their job. They just figures. They just there. Their staff does all their work for them, and when they're not in control of their staff, making their signing autographs and making personal appearances around the city, the job never gets done. And this is what the problem is. Like, you know, people, what goes over people's heads is what I cover. See, people were crying about the white boys marching downtown, but who gave them a permit to do that? That's what we need to be asking. Why did they have a police escort?
Did they get a permit, or did they just do it?
No, they didn't. That's the whole thing. And why did they give police escort, though? That's what we need to know.
Yeah.
See, these are the things that happen behind the scenes that we left in the dark with, because we know Black Lives Matter would have not got a permit if they went through the channels to march in the middle of the night. See, these are the things when we look at our city government that we got to look at, that they say, you know what, the hell with those black folks. We're going to do what we want to do. And then they had the nerve to claim that black people chased them away, attacked them.
I saw that.
When they come here up in Penske trucks, which they came up in a group of Penske trucks, and then the police gave on a good phony show like they were doing something when they pulled them over. You know, when they pulled them over, they did a safety check. They was making sure everybody was all right. They didn't pull them over to see if they was doing anything wrong. They was doing a safety check to make sure that they was okay.
It's just
we got to look at what we deal with now. All these shootings, most of these shootings happen up in my neighborhood. 16th Street, the little girl shooting herself in the head. This is all out my neighborhood. See, when I go to the store, I have to have my affairs in order and to make sure that if I don't come back, they know what to do, and I have to wear a vest just to go get a hoagie. This is what I got to do every day.
It sounds funny, but it's not. You know
I
what
know
I'm saying?
it's not. That's why I have to put it so lighthearted.
There's a lot going on out here.
Right now.
You know, because I'm telling you, 4th of July 4th, we didn't go visit any place where there were fireworks, where there are large crowds of people. The Homeland Security sent out a message, a warning to all of us, and so said, so done. 105 bullets is not regular. Come on now. And how did
No,
nobody see anything?
That's destruction. That's destruction. What I'm saying is, what we got to look at is what is our city government. See, people got this thing backwards. It is not a gun problem. It's a black people problem because blacks are killing blacks.
But so let me ask, whoa. Let me say this to you though. Are you sure these are all black people though?
Yes.
We keep saying, you sure, Maurice?
100%.
Because according to Homeland Security, there's some stuff going on in our communities that we're not paying attention to, and we're just assuming. And I'm not excusing the foolery that's going on in our communities, right? Because there's lots of black folks shooting. Wherever you live is where you. I don't like the term black on black crime, because wherever you live, in whatever community you live in, that's who you're going to be shooting and killing. So
well, you know what I call black on black crime? When black people using whatever and they killing other black people. That's black on black crime. Yeah. Now let me tell you something.
Well, I got 1 minute, Maurice, because I got to go to break.
All I can deal with is Philadelphia. I can't deal with what they say nationwide and all that. I don't know what's going on in Camden. I don't know what's going on in Montgomery
Maurice,
County.
It's all connected. It's all connected,
I only can deal with Philadelphia, which we got to deal with. We got to deal with home base. We can't worry about what's going on across the street. We got to take care of what's in our house, and our house is Philadelphia.
Okay.
We got to deal with the problem here in Philadelphia. We can't talk about what they killing in somewhere else. No, we got to worry about they killing here and handle the problem right now. We're going to reach 1,000 next year if we don't do something right now.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying. Listen, I'm trying to tell people. I've been preaching this for the last 5 years. I've seen it coming. This was coming before COVID even started. Don't put COVID in it, because we had the mayor had the 100-day plan way before COVID even came afoot.
All right. Maurice, hold on 1 second. Let me take a quick break, okay? Because we got to pay some bills. All right? You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Are you an educator looking for a life-changing opportunity? Youth Build Philly Charter School might be the home for you. Apply to Youth Build to join a family of educators dedicated to learning and growing with young people. Check out current opportunities at youthbuildphilly.org or follow them on social media at YouthBuildPHL. Join Youth Build today. Youth Build is now accepting applications for the class of 2021.
Thinking about retirement? Make sure a My Social Security account is a part of your plan. A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can find out if you're eligible to receive benefits, compare retirement benefit estimates at different ages or dates, view spousal benefit estimates, and more. Plan for your future. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Michael just texted me and said, oops. It's all right, my brother. We all have moments every once in a while. All right, Maurice, I'm giving you another couple of seconds. So and let me know when Pastor Waller is on, please, Michael. So Maurice, we keep talking about this, and there's so much going on it's not just Philadelphia. I believe that what you see happening in our, and this is just Andrea speaking, this is my opinion. I believe that what you see happening in our city is being replicated in cities all around the country. Yes, we have some major issues where we have politicians who aren't doing what they're supposed to do, but at what point do we say, see, we keep fussing and complaining about the same politicians, but they're still in office. So whose fault is that? Whose fault is that, Maurice?
That's our fault.
Oh, okay. So until we figure out how we get up and say we've got to pull up and start pushing people out of office, That's the only way we're going to.
I've been doing this campaign for 5 years. I've been talking. I'm actually thinking about retiring from the radio and don't call no more because I've been preaching the same thing. We had people talk about, when we get this new class of city council people, we're going to have all these black people, and they're going to be able to do this and that. We're going to be running things. I said, no, they're not. They're going to fall right back into the fold, and that's exactly what they did. Not one of them's worth a damn. And I keep trying to tell people, I'm including the white ones, the Asian ones, especially the black ones. They know what kind of pain we're going through. They grew up poor, most of them.
Yeah.
Most of them don't even have a real education. But guess what? They don't care because they're making money now. They're making money. If you're going to tell me that if they look into their district and see how it's decaying and how there's no black businesses around and they're not thinking about that, they don't care. They've seen this murder problem coming when you have bad education, no jobs. Look, before COVID, we only owned 2% of black businesses in the whole city.
Okay, so let me say this to you, Maurice. Okay. I was having a meeting with a friend, I believe it was yesterday, and she was talking about the fact that someone she knows is getting ready to run for office. The second thing she said to me after she told me that that person was getting ready to run for office was this: that leadership program that you went through with 60 leaders across the state of Pennsylvania who were going into political leadership, is that program still around? I said no, but I went through 10 months of it, and all the people that was in that program with me, none of them are in the news. They're all in political office in and around state reps, judges, etc., etc. None of them are in the news because they were taught there are leadership skills and qualities that must be a part of who you are and what you do. If you are running for office just to say I'm running for office and I have this title and I have a car issued to me, etc., etc., then you don't need to be running for office. Running for office means that you take care of the constituents, and then but then your core values must come into play. What we're running into, and it's not just a Philadelphia thing, is people running for office don't have the first clue. When they get in, instead of learning on the job and asking for all the materials that they can get in their hands so they know what they're talking about, we don't get that. We get a whole lot of pontificating and, I'm your leader now, etc., etc. So we have to vet these people when they're running for office. We have to stand up and not sit around and wait for somebody to come and tell us with a palm card, this is who you should vote for. No! You do your homework inside. Well, okay, why are you running for office? What have you done that makes you qualify for running for office? How did you get involved in this? What are the things that you stand for? Are you petty as hell? Are you somebody, if we say something to you, run in a corner and go suck your thumb like Tom and do nothing beyond that? This is what we keep getting, the same old foolishness. And the only way we're finding these people being rooted out is when the federal government comes in and snatch their behinds. How many of them are under federal investigation as we speak? Huh? How is that even a thing? Why do we have to keep going through this?
Well, you already know that most of the people that are in city council have a target letter. You know that.
Well,
see,
I can't say that.
Problem. No, wait a minute. Let's talk about Johnson. Johnson had to pay bail to be on the street right now to stay in office. Okay. Now he's one that's leading the gun buyback campaigns, and every time you turn around, he's doing the anti-violence. But you can't have a crook up there leading the pack. Yeah. Okay. Let's be honest. He might be a nice guy. I might want to go out to dinner and hang with him. But he has a target letter, and he's been arrested, him and his wife. So let's deal with reality. Why to have some of the hosts here on URD are crooks? Let's do that. Let's be honest about what's going on and stop keeping up the lie.
But that is your allegation. You know what I'm saying?
No, allegation.
Okay.
There's no allegation. Wait a minute.
Your allegation.
Wait a minute. You brought that up. Now, that show I was listening to was Harold James that was on. He had Ron Waters on there that's not a state rep now because he stole $9,000. That is that $9,000. That's documented. Why is he on our radio station? And I could name some others, but I'm not going to do it. But since he used to be my state rep, I can name him. So come on, let's be honest. We got a lot of crooks. The state female rep that was that got fired from her job, the lady that was a Muslim, Rihanna Johnson, something, I can't remember her name. Why is she leading the pack on the anti-violence?
Because she's dealt with a lot of violence in her family and have
Yeah,
lost
so
children.
what? But she's a
So,
crook.
okay, so let me ask you this. Where is the redemption for people who have made mistakes?
No, let's not even go there with that. Because when you go there with that, you are not accepting the best. We need to.
No.
Why,
I am not saying.
Let me say this real quick. Why didn't they use the real girl that was on the bus, that stayed on the bus, that got arrested, and they found a good, clean school teacher to lead the civil rights march? Why did they pick her when the young girl that was pregnant should have been the one? Why did they do that? Because they need a clean face.
I see it. I get it. All
right,
so you're
that's what I'm
saying
trying
that.
to say.
Wait. So I get it. So you're saying that they can, they shouldn't be the face for lead programs because they have been indicted and charged with criminal activities. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
That's what I'm saying is the drug dealer can't be the block cat.
Dang.
You understand what I'm saying? I just break it down to the simplest way that people can understand what's going on here. If you want to make this city change, we need to find a person to run for mayor right now and stop waiting to the last minute. We need to do a GoFundMe and put our money up and back that person.
You keep saying that,
now,
but there are people lined up.
You need to go ahead and register, tell people to register to vote now instead of crying about they're trying to stop us to vote. We need to
there
go
are people
out and
lining up to run for mayor as we speak, Maurice. They're just not talking about it openly. They're running. Okay?
I said it.
Now, whether it's somebody that we want to run, that's a whole other different story. But they're running.
You pick them.
Me? Oh,
yeah.
See, you almost made me cuss. No, you about to get the FCC to come get me. No.
But then we better go on down there and grab. Look, right now, it's a shame, but this is a black station, but the only person in city office that's doing anything for black people is a white guy. And he keep blaming him for the commissioner's job when he's only the DA. He does this job after we catch the crooks, not before. So we need that's the only guy I can see that could turn this city around right now.
All right.
He's the only honest one that tells the truth, and he gets rid of the scum. But guess what? We want to blame him for nonsense and for the commissioner's job when she is only a pawn. Let's tell the truth, people. I said enough. And
yes, you have. Well,
have them jelly beans for me when I call next time. I like the grape ones.
Goodbye, Maurice. Love you. Bye. Okay, so this is apparently the 1, 2, 3 punch because George is now on the line. George, what can I do for you, sir?
You can do a lot. You can get the general manager of SEPTA on and ask him why is it that he's taking up all the places where people sit for the wait for the bus.
Yes, the leaners, yes.
You know, right. Then he come up with this, or she come up with this lean foolishness. You know, all that money they got. And the point is that it was 2 seniors who fell out last week because they had moved the benches out or something. They had started moving them out already. But they don't look at that.
So it's 69th Street, and where else did they take out the benches and
up
put in
in
the
Frankfurt.
In Frankfurt, right. That's what I remember seeing.
The next place they're supposed to be going down to Broad Island. Now, they're going to have a problem. And believe me, and when I say you're going to have a problem, you're going to have a real problem. If they start moving those rest places because of seniors, you got to realize a lot of seniors, the only way they can get around is SEPTA, and they get around during the senior hours with the morning off. They have to wait 15, 20 minutes, sometimes a half an hour for a bus. What do they supposed to just stand up all the time?
Right.
They put them there because people took them to federal court about that.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, you got to realize here in Philadelphia, they change the rules as they go until somebody take them to court.
Right.
That's the problem. Nobody wants to take nobody to court. They always want to run their mouth, but they don't want to spend that money to go to court. Yeah. Second thing, Andrea, I was down there at that thing when those white supremacists came in. I never in my life seen them have an escort in, all this craziness with no permit, no civil affairs, where nobody was notified. And guess where all of them was standing?
Who escorted them in?
The police. The police, they had the police ride right on with them while they was marching. That should have been dispersed immediately. As soon as they got together, it should have been dispersed.
And how do we know that they had no? And are we certain that they had no permit?
Well, you got the commissioner and her flunkies listening. Have anybody call in here and ask and tell you that they had a permit. Dollars to donuts, they didn't have no permit. They didn't have anything. They didn't notify Internal Affairs. And the point is, they stayed at the Hilton. So everybody knew they were coming 2 weeks ago. They had bus loads. They came in on a plane and on those buses, okay? They stayed at the Hilton right down there off of,
City Line Avenue?
Yeah, no, right off of, no, down there on Essington, down there by
by the airport.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
They stayed down there. So therefore, somebody had to pay for them to come in. But you know what got them scared? When all those people start coming down there talking about, okay, you're going to bring that S to Philly, we're going to deal with you. And believe me, that's when the police didn't break it up. They, started scattering. Notice this, when they went to the airport, that none of them had their fatigue on, and none of them was wrapped in a flag looking like Humpty the Clown. None of them. So that spoke for itself, but rules are rules. I believe in that. You don't like something, well, to get them to change the laws or change the rules. So, therefore, that's what they did. So, black folks and white folks got together. They were scared. They didn't know what was going to happen because the police sure enough wasn't going to protect them. That was out. Somebody made the police.
So you said the police wasn't going to protect them? Is that what you just said?
No. Okay. Cops were. Here, cops tolerate certain things. But if it's among themselves here, cops don't care. But when outsiders come in here and they know you're an outsider, they ain't going to play that. They didn't play it because they told them, listen, it's more about to come and there's more of them than you. So if I was y'all, we'd get up out of here. So they had a lot of white shirts down. They had more white shirts than they had regular cops. And they was giving them warnings, hey, this is not going to be a situation that you're going to like. It's going to become real ugly. Right. Which they should have just went on and locked them up or dispersed it because they didn't have a permit. Had it been anybody black or Hispanic or any other thing, that would have been dispersed immediately. It wouldn't even became an issue. It would have been done. Let me say this here to Andrea. Two people you should have as guests to come in and explain something. One, you should try to have Judge Time come in and explain about these tickets and everything, about the way all these different things are arranged and all. And the second thing is that she can tell you about these tickets and all. And the second thing is that you should get somebody to come in and talk about the way this construction is going, about people's houses being torn up when these developers come in and develop new houses, tearing people's roofs off and all this stuff.
You know what, George? I actually called the city because, I think they're shocked to hear my voice. But I'm actually calling the city. I'm calling city offices, and I'm leaving messages and giving them my email address. I'm still waiting for the one from the property assessment to call me back. But I'm asking these questions on behalf of the citizenry of Philadelphia. And each time I don't get a response, I'm going to talk about it because we can't just ignore the fact that people want to have an answer. Someone emailed me about their Pennsylvania unemployment assistance checks that didn't come from December to March. Like, how do we address these issues for people? This is insane. We just can't ignore them.
The first issue that you said there with the city, what you should do, the person that put in that bill, which is helping homeowners, because there's people being held liable and responsible to fix your house if they tear
for the
up
damages
anything.
to their homes, right?
Right. And, you had a couple crazy people talking stupid, real stupid about, this bill is going to do. Listen, that bill there helps the homeowner. It don't help no union or nothing. But Councilman Heenan did it, so therefore you got all these people speaking negative of the bill. Read the bill and understand the bill. These people who put up these houses don't have liability. They don't have no type of insurance. They don't have bonding. So therefore they say, sue me then. Take me to court. That takes 2 or 3 years. But meantime, the roof is leaking.
Right.
The side of your house got a crack in it. I mean, they just totally destroy people's house. Some people's house people, they have to delete and get rid of it. And nobody's held responsible for it. They got all these LLCs with different names and all.
Right.
But that's the kind of stuff. I mean, if you can get Bobby Heenan, one, to talk about how the city is making them be more responsible.
So let me ask you this: Is Bobby Heenan? If we reach out to him, will he come on my show? Because I'm not wasting my time. If he's going to answer
I'm
the
quite
questions,
sure he'll come. I mean, he's not no punk or nothing. He's not one of those guys who duck stuff. I mean, he go wherever it's got to go. I mean,
All
far
right.
as I know, that's the way it
Since
is.
you know everybody in Jesus, George, please let Mr. Heenan know that I'd like to talk to him. Answer some of these questions for me.
And
that
then
would be nice.
you can get and these tickets and everything about these cars, how everybody's riding around with no insurance, and the cops can't stop them. You got a suspended tag; they can't do nothing about it. You got expired inspection, no insurance; they can't do nothing. Maybe Judge Thomas can come on and explain to you what a person should do or what your rights are.
And Judge Time. All right. So my content producer is going to be on vacation. This is going to be me doing all of this work now. And Lord knows my cup runneth over. Bobby Heenan.
Mike could get a hold of him. I mean, you have some good people that work for you. But I'm just saying, Andrea. And one other thing, you should get a hold of this week is two things. Is that, one, that prison commissioner up there, that deputy, you're going to have to deal with that prison because it's all messed up. She's not, Blanche is not going to come on your show. You're going to have to get one of the deputy mayors to come on and explain why is that prison so messed up. Now, they got men in the women's prison, in the section where the women's at.
Men
they have
in
no
the women's
recreation.
prison.
Yeah.
Now, I called Blanche's office again. Let me tell you, I'm
not
not
afraid.
You're not going
to get anywhere.
That's what I figured. But I have spoken to some of the prison guards and wrote some articles around COVID and all of what was going on up there. So I'm very aware, and I did reach out to her office then. But somebody has to. Who is the assistant mayor? Who's the black man that's the assistant mayor that took the other dude's job? That we just can't. We don't see him at all in the public eye.
What do you mean, Tumar?
Tumar Alexander. Where is he?
Tumar doing his job.
Okay. Real quiet.
Yeah,
I just
Tumar,
need to.
Tumar doing his job.
You tell him Marvel would like to have a little talk with him, too. A little talk with Tumar. Tell him all about my troubles. Because I need to figure out what he's doing behind the scenes.
You should talk to the mayor's chief of staff. That's who you should talk to. Try to get him on, if you can get it. But remember, in City Hall, all them council people, they so glad this pandemic happened, Andrea, because that means they got 1 year of BSing you talking about what we're going to do. And you know what they're going to talk about? Violence. That's all they're going to talk about.
Yeah,
but if you
so
look
much.
At their district, everything is gone. They shrinking black people out of their district. They think that white folks going to elect them back into town. They're crazy.
All right, George, I gotta go. But listen, I got these list of people that I'm gonna reach out to and see who will come on the show. Because I don't, I can't play the games. I just don't have the energy, and I don't know how to smile and shuck and jive when people are blowing smoke. So I just don't.
Well, you know what? You should teach. You should give a class on all that grinning and shucking and jiving, kissing up. And people finally realizing what I've been saying about these kiss up callers. They finding out that they're the ones that's making their district get nothing. Kissing up to an elected official don't get you nothing. They get paid to do that job. They don't get paid for you to act like they Luther Vandross.
I got it. All right, honey. I got to go because I'm like a minute over. But I'll talk to you when I come back on, okay? Love you. Bye. Bye-bye. All right. You are listening to The Source. Michael, when I go into commercial, bring Melissa in to the waiting room so we don't have to wait for her, okay? 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
The Sweet Treat Hut is the highest rated juice bar in Philly, located on the corner of 50th and Thompson Streets, providing delicious, healthy vegan food, juices, and smoothies. Treat yourself to a cup of happiness. Call 215-877-1471.
Remember the last time your family visited the forest? It's a place of wonder and imagination for the whole family, where stories come to life, and it's closer than you think. Ready to plan your next visit? Make the forest part of your story today at a local park near you, or find one at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Want the latest in Word swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. Now listen here. I was trying to enjoy my July 4th weekend. I get a tap from Melissa. She said, sis, did you see? I said, girl, not only did I see it, I am hard-pressed to figure out how do we have a conversation that goes beyond emotion about this. My friends' children are dying in these streets. People that I never thought I would see. You know, folks who raised their children. One child didn't make it to 20. You know, so many of our young people are dying. And even though our children may not live in this city and may live other places, they're still at risk, right? So, welcome to the show, Melissa. Just welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, Andrea. It's such a pleasure to be here with you, and your viewers and your listeners, of course. Thank you.
Yes.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Where do we start? So let's talk about, someone on here says, do you need a permit if you're not blocking traffic? I guess this person Joanne was talking about. I'm on YouTube too. I was talking about the marches in the street. Now, the way I've known it in the communities where I've lived my whole life, really, since I've lived in this country, if you are going to do any kind of organization anywhere, you need a permit. Not about blocking the streets so much, but about the public safety, right? What's happening? Do you need police officers to hold up traffic? Because you're going to be walking. If you're more than 5 or 10 people, you're blocking up traffic as you're going cross platforms, sidewalks, etc. And so, and that's done so that we also know who is doing what. Right? So that everybody can't just willy-nilly. It's kind of like having a block party, but except you're having a march. So give us your thoughts around this, the peoples showing up on Saturday evening and getting a Philly welcome. Dear God Almighty. Do we not understand that the Philly people, they didn't call them the Broad Street Bullies for nothing?
These people will never learn. I was awakened at like 11 o'clock on Saturday night. My son called me, not panicky, but like, Mom, what's going on with this protest in town, in Center City? And I said, son, what are you talking about? He said, there are a bunch of men with masks on their face. So at this point, as my son is describing it to me, I cannot visually. I'm thinking, okay, face mask. Like, why do you have an issue with people in the street with face masks? Right. He's like, Mom, it's a bunch of people protesting. They got masks on and they're carrying a bunch of American flags. So as soon as my son said American flag, my first thought, white supremacists. Now, say what you will, but most people now associate the American flag with white supremacy. That's another conversation for another day that has to be addressed sooner or later in this here country. But I did my research and, I reached out to people and they said, we don't know of anything. I was awakened early a Sunday morning with footage, live footage.
So they didn't have a permit to do this?
Well, this is the thing that I observed when I watched the footage, right? Because I didn't want to make any assumptions. I know that last year during the Juneteenth celebration, for the people that did request permits to walk down Germantown Avenue to the park, they not only had permits, but the same way that the Philadelphia police escorted those white supremacists in the street are the same way that the police escorted the people who were celebrating Juneteenth. Right. That was my observation, right? So that tells me that there was a permit in play. That also tells me that, pardon me, the Philadelphia police had knowledge of what was going on and what had been planned. So that was my observation.
Right. The Department of Homeland Security put out a severe warning just before the July 4th holiday. And in this city, I have folks like Maurice, we have some regular callers that listen all the time that says, well, we can't worry about what's happening everywhere else around the country. We can only worry about what's happening in Philadelphia. To what do you owe this march at this point? And in your opinion, what do you think is going on here? This is just your opinion, of course,
Well, let's be frank. We all have a right to assembly.
Yes.
Right? We all have that. The problem becomes when you're assembling against my humanity. That's when it becomes problematic. And I guess the question begs, how long will the leadership of our country allow this symbolic hatred to hijack everything that America is supposed to stand for? That's the real question. The constant murmurs and chatters of, oh, they're just full of hate. Oh, they're just over there doing that. No, I literally think that this was a test run for something bigger to come. Listen, these people went to Washington, D.C. on January 6th and murdered people at our United States Capitol. We can't be comfortable with this behavior. We cannot be comfortable with the continuous warnings of, we don't want you here. Right. White supremacy is here to stay. These are warnings, and we cannot turn a blind eye. The question is, are people in Philadelphia, particularly Black and brown people, are we organized enough to be prepared?
You already know the answer to that. It is just one day at a time, and the folks who are organizing know exactly all of this, right? And so what do we do? What do we do? I'm hard pressed when I see all the weeping and the wailing that has been going on, the amount of young people that have died, right? This is Andrea's opinion, and I keep saying it is my opinion so that people don't, say that I'm putting words in anybody's mouth. I firmly believe that what the Department of Homeland Security has said, I firmly believe that all the warning that we got up until January 6th, and when I saw the movement, when the people were marching and let's face it, some of it was rioting last year when all the stuff happened around George Floyd's murder, that we saw folks coming into the community that didn't look like us. Cherry Gregg reported on it. I reported on it. Breaking into stores and ushering people. We saw it with our own two eyes.
Yes, yes.
So we do recognize that there are people coming into the community that doesn't live here. And I often wonder, with all the violence that is going on, how much of that is mixing in with the regular violence, and there's no such thing as regular violence. You understand what I'm saying?
No. I'm there with you. I'm there with you because, you say this, but it's been on my mind for quite some time, and I don't want to come off as a conspiracy theorist.
Right.
I know to what degree these people will stoop.
Right.
I know the evil that lurks. So every time I hear, me personally, again, Melissa's opinion, every time I hear there's a shooting in the city of Philadelphia and no shooter has been caught, I can't help but to ask myself, who are all the shooters really?
Yes.
A masked man? Look, we know that in Chicago, it was reported that loads of guns, loads of ammunition were dropped off in back alleys, were just there for people to pick up and use to kill each other. Listen, we all know it's easier for those white supremacists if we kill each other as opposed to them killing us, right? We know that if the majority of the police in the city of Philadelphia had their way, it would be open season on Black people. Let's not fool ourselves. If they could legally kill us, they would. You ask yourself, what's your end game? Like, what are we working towards? What's the end game? We see white supremacy marches. We see anytime any kind of legislation comes up against controlling the sale of guns or any kind of gun regulatory conversation that comes up, we know who is most adamant about shutting it down, the NRA, and of course, those who receive funding from the NRA, right? And we know that the police are rooted, and we know the structure comes from white supremacy and racism and brutality against Black bodies. So you would ask yourself, what is the end game? What is the end game?
So here's the question that I'm going to ask you, because there are folks who, and I've sat in those rooms, we have a right to march too. We believe what we believe. We have a right to march too.
Indeed.
On Saturday, whatever day, my days are running together, someone said to me, you do realize that building that went down in Florida, that Israel sent people to help with the excavation, and you do realize that along City Line Avenue, where they have all the camps where all the Jewish children are, they have armed guards in every last one of those camps. I said, excuse me? And they believe that there's something. So we say things like structural damage. And like you, the whole conspiracy theory thing is not a thing that I ascribe to. What I ascribe to is paying attention. paying attention to all the things that have been going on. Every single dot has been connecting for over 4 years. And beyond that, even beyond that, right? There were people put in place, and there were LLCs and all these little structures, and people were being fed all this information. Black people too were being fed all this information, you know, and we don't, because we don't spend time researching, because we don't spend time, you know, doing our homework, we get caught up in the melee. It's like the red pill and the blue pill. I feel like we're in the middle, dead smack in the middle of the matrix, and nobody knows quite yet what is yet to come. Does that make sense, Melissa?
No, it makes plenty of sense. It makes plenty of sense, because planning is always being done while we're snoozing and sleeping, while we're out
and fighting each other.
And fighting each other while we're partying, while we're snoozing, while we're, you know, going against each other. Planning is being done to ensure that the structures that are in place that benefit white people continue. Now, something that I paid attention to a couple of years ago that I could not put to rest. Do you recall in Williamstown in New York, is it Williamstown or Williamsport? I think I'm not sure, it's in Brooklyn. It's a neighborhood in Brooklyn. Do you remember there was a man that came in with a machete to a gathering of a Jewish community and slashed and cut a couple of people? Do you remember that happening?
I remember that. Hold on to Melissa. Let me take a break. I do remember that. And when I talk about the fact that Jewish people are targeted in ways, child, and they go like, well, they're white. Listen, I'm not here to argue black, white, whatever. I'm just telling you, as a group, as a culture, they are vilified. That is frightening. You know, and so we spend a lot, but they have the money and the power.
That's where I'm going with this.
Come on now. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. See, this is why. See, I can't do the foolishness. I have to have real, honest conversations to like really dig deeply into what is going on. And we have to stop dancing on the surface and pretending like we don't know what's going on. Hold on, honey. You are listening to The Source. 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back with Melissa Robbins after these messages.
Hey, WURD family, did you hear? It's official. The Colorectal Cancer Alliance just announced the new age for colon cancer screenings has been officially lowered to age 45 for everyone. If you are 45 or older, it's time to get screened. Go to WURDradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner to register for your free at-home screening test. Did you know colon cancer is largely preventable with on-time screening? And there's a 90% survival rate when caught early. African Americans are 20% more likely to get colon cancer and about 40% more likely to die from it than most other groups. So for the next 3 months, you can go to WURDradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner for your free at-home screening test. A screening navigator will contact you to ask a few questions and help you get screened. It's that simple. Again, just go to WURDradio.com, click on the Go to Know banner, and fill out the form to request your free at-home screening test. Go to Know today.
The Black Words Book Club. WURD Radio's conversation on books that explore the African American experience through social, economic, and environmental justice issues. Tune in the second Tuesday of every month on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. The Black Words book for July is White Evangelical Racism, The Politics of Morality in America by Penn's Dr. Anthea Butler. Be sure to listen live as Nick Taliaferro will hold a contest for a giveaway book bundle that consists of 4 titles from Kensington's Defina's Authors of Color's newest release. Don't miss it, Tuesday, July 13th on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Attention for WURD members. Get your copy and receive a 20% discount when you purchase at Harriet's Bookstore or Hakeem's Bookstore. For more information on the Black Words Book Club, visit WURDradio.com. The Black Words Book Club is sponsored by Defina. Defina is an imprint of Kensington Publishing Corporation, America's independent publisher, concentrating on authors of color. Lifting every voice till earth and heaven ring. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, I have on the line with me Melissa Robbins, who has been a staunch advocate, activist, community supporter, and she has worked in many political organizations, you know, helping people to run for office, et cetera, et cetera. So she's been in the streets. She's not some crazy person just talking out the side of her neck. You know what I find so interesting, Melissa? When you are knowledgeable and passionate, people try to label you as crazy. Right.
Well, of course, they want to discredit you because if you don't go along to get along and you're marching to the beat of your own drum and you're actually seeing things as they are and speaking about it, you cannot be controlled. And that is problematic from those who want to maintain the status quo. But Melissa needs to sleep at night, and I know that Andrea does too.
So Andrea does not find herself in certain rooms. I don't care if Jesus is going to be sitting in the middle of the rooms with certain people that I'm not going there. I'm just not going there.
Oh,
and if I walk into the room and I see certain folks, I'm going to turn right back around. Lord, my stomach is hurting. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
You know
not
what
doing it.
You know what it is with me? I've come to the conclusion that, you know, the one thing that the military did teach me was, amongst many other things, you have to work with those who you don't necessarily choose to share space with.
But there are ways to do it, right? So if I have to work with you and if I have to sit at a table and have a conversation with you for doing what needs to be done, I'm darn sure not socializing with you. I ain't doing it.
No.
And I learned that through Centers for Progressive Political Leadership that I went through with Brian Sims and all of them. I mean, we were all in the same class together. And those folks have just stayed out the limelight and have learned. We learned everything you need to do to be a leader. And one of the first things we talk about is this. If you're going to run for leadership, don't stay past your welcome. Because after 2 terms, you become less and less effective.
Exactly.
Right? Move on to something else. And that's whether you're sitting on a board, running for political office, whatever. You know, and that's why we're so stagnant, because we get there and we sit there. And we think we're making a move, and we're not doing anything.
And not only that, I find increasingly, but I do want to come back to that conversation about what happened in New York. It was Monty was the neighborhood. Yes. But what happens is the longer you stay in any position, be it elected or community group or whatever it is, you become detached from the very people who are most impacted by the social and economic issues. And it's very difficult to advocate for people when you're not listening to people, because there's this ego that's in the way. Instead of being humble, instead of bowing to the feet. You know, when I was a kid and I saw the Pope, at the time it was Pope John Paul, not that I agree with Catholicism or that I follow it, but as a child, I saw that both Mother Teresa and the Pope would bathe and wash the feet. Right. So as a child, I was just like overcome with joy. I was like, I want to be a missionary, Mom. I'm going to save the people in Calcutta. And of course, my mom was like, go somewhere and sit down. But but that stuck with me. Right. And I know that me coming from the military as a public servant and continuing the advocacy work, not as an elected official, but as an advocate, I honor the time that I have with people and that I can listen to them and that they trust me enough to share and take down those walls and tell me this is my issue and how can you help me. So, you know, for people to detach themselves from the issues, for the people who do not listen to those directly impacted, you're doing everybody a disservice, because it then becomes about you and not the people that you originally went into office to fight for and to advocate for. And that is what we're seeing, because these egos are out of the world. But Melissa doesn't have any problem calling out egos, not at all, because she only serves one God.
So Melissa, here's the other thing. Those egos are chosen. The egos are deliberately chosen. I'm telling you, I've been in these rooms. Those egos are deliberately chosen because they know that all they have to do is stroke those egos a little bit, give them a little bit of something, and put them in these positions, because they're really not the ones running anything.
They're placeholders.
Come on now.
They're placeholders, and we know they're placeholders. And this is what I said to myself when I was thinking about you before I came on the show. I said, it's important that when I go on Andrea's show today, people are listening. So the people listening, I know you're saying, get to the point, Melissa and Andrea, what's the solution? I got a solution for you, because I know you said we could talk each other's heads off. Okay, first of all, I'm going to go back to Chuck Schumer, because that's important. So when 5 people were stabbed during the last night of Hanukkah, it was a Hanukkah celebration in the community of Monsey, New York, right? The first thing that Chuck Schumer did, he wasn't then a majority leader, he was minority leader under McConnell. But he successfully, as a Congress member, secured millions of dollars for the Jewish community. And so my curiosity got the best of me. Well, what is he doing with these millions of dollars? Well, guess what they did? You just said it, Andrea. Armed security guards, more cameras. So we, as Black people, the most marginalized, the most traumatized, the most brutalized and underserved community in America, what do our leaders go to get for us? I'll tell you. Why is that a problem? It's a major problem because we have the wrong people in place. So we have to create our own political pipelines with our own people so that we can ensure that the right people are in place and ensure that they are going to come forth with our set of demands so that we can get what we need, because we're not.
And here's the other thing that I'm teaching folks. I don't even know if people caught it yet. But every day that I come on here, I say, here's a solution. Start putting your ducats away. Don't go buy any old thing as soon as the money. Don't let the money burn a hole in your pocket.
Okay.
People who are powerful because they've learned how to pull their monies together and do what needs to be done.
Together.
Yes, together. Every bickle makes a buckle. So I'm just starting now with getting people to just figure out, save your money. Invest your money in things that if you're buying household items and stuff like that and you have some expendable cash, buy some stocks. It's not the people who are living day by day that's going to gain wealth. It's the folks who have learned how to pull their monies together. I continue to have those conversations. Look out for the people in your community, because we can't become a tight-knit group if we don't take care of one another. You know what I'm saying?
And the reason that is because, unfortunately, my research throughout the years has told me specifically that people who live in the northeastern region of the United States function in an individualistic society. You know, we know down south that, you know, the patriarchal society is major. But here in the Northeast, the individualism, it destroys us. Destroys us. The whole lack of trust. You know, people say this loosely, and I used to think about it. Why are people so flippant saying this? You know, they would say, oh, you're a house Negro, or you're a field Negro. What does that create? That creates animosity, conflict, friction, and division, and lack of trust. And as long as I look at Andrea and I see her as an adversary, instead of me honoring her, saying, this woman is powerful, she's beautiful, she's present, she's here, and she wants to work collectively, I have to honor that in you. Or I could say, who does Andrea think she is? You know, why? How does that benefit me, and how does that benefit Andrea? I'm here talking to this woman and we're putting our brains together. Why? Because we have a mutual love. And that mutual love is in the mirror.
Yes, and of our people. Let's
yes,
just be
clear.
clear. And the other thing is, you know, I'm having conversations with, you know, I have lots of white allies, you know, who are saying, look, no matter how much no matter how much I try to support, I always end up putting my foot in my mouth, because my privilege steps forth even with my best intentions, right? So we, you know, we have so much work to do. But here's the thing: we don't have enough time. We don't have time because we continue to get plucked off. If it's not the violence in our cities, it's the poverty. If it's not that, it's not being able to afford the educations. If we decide that we're going to college, we're taking out all these insipid student loans that I have friends who are making $300,000-$400,000 and still got student loans. It's ridiculous, right?
It is ridiculous.
They work to become a lawyer, a judge, or whatever, and the student loan is like a millstone around their neck. You understand what I'm saying? So there are ways to find grants and resources and you know, or go to community college where you're doing it for free for 2 years and then figure out how you can get scholarships. This is what the source is about, right? I mean, we can report the news all diggity dang day, but what are the solutions for our people?
There you go.
That's the thing. That's the thing. And so right now it's about the vote, making sure that we can't vote. My God, Melissa, the levels that they're going to, and we're just kind of sitting there taking the vote for granted until we can't vote. You know what I'm saying?
You just said the levels that they're going to. Now let me translate that. right? The levels that we're seeing white men who have control and power in this country. You think they're not funding people like those white supremacists that walk through Center City? They were dressed alike, they were organized, they had shields, they know when to be, where to be, starting point, end point, they had trucks reserved, they were highly organized. You think for 1 second no elected officials were involved in that? You think for 1 second no police were on board with that? You've got to be kidding yourself if you believe that those morons got together to do that. Again, I'll ask again, what is the end game? What's the end game? You think that show of bravado or white supremacy in the streets is it? Oh no, they're working up towards something. There's always an end goal, and the end goal is to maintain supremacy, control, power, and dominion over black bodies.
And it's not just black bodies, it's just to maintain power. And quite frankly, it's only a few people who really are pulling all the strings, right? So we're all fighting for the crumbs down at the bottom. I laughed at my husband and I said, there's not even a middle class anymore.
No.
It just isn't, right?
No.
It used to be you could make 6 figures and say, I'm middle class. Now you have to be $1.7 million to be considered middle class. And that's in the bank. You understand what I'm saying? The average person makes $25,000 to $35,000 a year. Think about it, Melissa. So who does it serve? Right. So who does it serve to keep us at these levels, beating on each other? Who does it serve when we are, we are circumventing our core values so we can get the dollars in our hands to maintain the lifestyles that we have been grown accustomed to? Who is it serving? People are watching us. They're watching and seeing who will fall prey to these things, which is why so many people have got themselves in trouble over $2,000 or $1,500 or
$500.
Yes.
$500. No different. If you look at the way that mice and rats are studied in labs, that's what we're doing. It's cause and effect. It's the carrot effect. Let me just say this. It is intentional of the Republicans, and I'm not even going to get into a whole Republican-Democrat, because to me it comes down to white supremacy. It is intentional to underfund the schools here in Philadelphia. If the people are not educated, you cannot maintain any kind of financial stability or create any generational wealth. Underfunding schools in Philadelphia is intentional. The gun violence that we see on the streets, it's intentional. Make guns and ammunition available, and you kill each other. You kill each other because it's easier if you kill each other, but why does the mind turn on each other? Listen at the lyrics that you're listening to, the songs, who controls the music industry. What are you telling yourself? What is the imagery being put in your face? Girls, fake lips, fake breasts, fake butts, jewelry, skanky clothes, men killing each other, guns. What is being glorified? It's us destroying each other. That is what's being put in your mind. And when people like you, Andrea Sanders, think independently, and think people like me think independently, and sound the alarm to the rest to say, hey, this is what's being done to you, people like us become problematic. But guess what? We're not going to stop, because those before us didn't stop. And there's no reason for us to stop, because we serve a mighty, mighty, mighty God, don't we?
And quite frankly, walking in fear is not walking at all.
Man, that's what I was thinking. I said, you might come here and make us feel uncomfortable and unsafe with your white supremacy and your threats, but one thing you need to know, we're not in fear.
Yeah.
That's not who we are. God didn't give us that. He did not give us fear. No, ma'am. We will, just like they used to sing back in the day, we will overcome, we shall overcome. I believe in my heart. That's why I get up every single day. My love is for you and every black face that you encounter during the day. My love is for black people. And I will never stop talking about that, ever. And I will always take every breath to fight for the liberation, the freedom, and the honor and respect of us black people.
Amen.
Know this.
Amen. A to the man.
Yes.
A to the man. And so,
the gun violence, let me tell you something. Guns, there's no gun manufacturing company around Philadelphia, right? There's no ammo. I'd like to know the big why. All the state reps, all the city council people. Why is anyone not asking the attorney general, Josh Shapiro? He's the top cop in the state. Josh, where are the guns coming from? Josh, we have 95, we have the airport, and we have the docks. Those are the three avenues or thoroughfares to get guns and ammunition into our city. I'm not even an attorney. Why do I know that, and why are you not working on it? ATF, Homeland Security, what is your sole purpose? So how is it that all of these young bucks can get guns? Come on, Andrea, we know this is intentional. Nas said it. It's elementary. They want us all gone eventually. Come on. We cannot be this stupid killing each other. We can't.
It is incumbent upon us, and you and I are talking, and we're dropping gems as we're moving along, but it is also incumbent upon us to rest our souls, right? If we continue to this is all we're doing, is continually dealing with this trauma and making sure that our children are okay and our families are okay and everybody around us are okay. We've got to find a respite too. And respite could be, I tell people all the time, you don't have to fly in a plane to go get respite. It's a cup of tea. It's go taking your hands and digging it in the dirt. Just get a pot of dirt and just plant something and watch it grow.
Yes,
water it. Giving thanks, finding gratitude, writing a gratitude journal. And there are things that I will never talk about on the air here because I know everybody's listening, right? But, go find your clutches. Find your clutches and sit and meet and quietly have the conversations about what needs to be done. I happen to know there are conversations happening about folks now running for mayor in the next 2 years. It's not just, it's happening, right? But folks are not talking about it. But we have to make sure that when folks come out and say, this is what I am doing, that we find out from them exactly why. Is it because you're a millionaire? Is it because you really care about the people of this city? What is your 5-year plan for the city? What is your 90-day plan for the city? What is your 150-day plan?
What are your lived experiences that you relate?
Right? Right. So all of those things versus, I'm wealthy or I've lived here all my life and it's now my turn. My turn don't mean a hill of beans to anybody that lives here simply because you've been trying and trying and trying and now you figure it's your turn to get into office. Why are you running for office, right? And
or my father did it, now I'm doing it, or my mom did it. The nepotism is crippling. It's crippling.
We have to ask those questions. And so I want people to really pay attention and then see, where this is going to go from here, because while Governor Wolf continues to veto whatever is coming down the pike to stop voting from happening because of, and it's little things like, you can only vote certain days before the election, or, you can't get it, you only have to have a family member that can help you, to put in your absentee ballot. People don't realize how crippling that can be.
Constant fires, fire over here.
Yes.
Fires. If you surround someone with 100 fires, you'll tire them out. And that's what's happening to us. There's fire drills sounding off every 5 minutes. And we're going here and we're going there. We're running all over the place instead of just doing like the Bible says, be still. Be still. Be still.
Yeah, and know, right? And understand, and to also be wise enough to know the serpents that are around you. And the serpents aren't all white. They're not. Let's not play those games, right?
Andrea,
so just know.
Now I make no problem talking about who's doing what and why, but we have to look at who's being consistent, who has been consistent with the word and the love and the advocacy and the activism.
They're there. They are there.
I watched 30 people run for city council with me. Where are they?
Joanna McClinton comes to mind. I've watched her. I don't know her well enough, but I'm watching her. At least I see her visibly making some strides and some moves. Derek Green, every once in a while I see, I'm watching. Kendra Brooks, she gets a lot of fussing and complaining, but she's trying, and I think
she actually does. She works hard. She's really trying.
And so we want to acknowledge those that we see that are out here making a difference beyond making up all this noise and cutting their eyeballs. And I'm like, go somewhere else with that. We're too grown for this.
Or the publicity stunts.
Yes, we're too grown for this. We were talking about people's lives here. $37 million. Hello, rent relief, and people are still sitting here wondering what the hell.
You got some people who can go and get arrested and be out of jail in 5 minutes. And then other people get arrested and they got to spend 20 years before they're exonerated. And nobody got no time for no silly stunts. Like you said, people are dying, losing their lives, starving, homeless, real life issues on the streets, and people are playing politics. And this is not the time. So I urge all of your listeners, all who are tuned in, listening to her right now, you really think about the next mayoral race. Really think about the gubernatorial race, the AG race. Think about the city council race. Think about who you want to represent you and your family to generate the outcomes that you deserve so that this pain and this trauma can be minimized and we can honestly, finally move in the direction of healing. Yeah. Will in what you want, the law of attraction. If you want a city to heal, you will it in. It can and it will happen because me and Andrea are on the job.
You better. Thank you so much, my sister.
Yes,
it's always a pleasure talking to you. Take it easy. Stay well.
Thank you for having me and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
You're welcome. And we'll continue to talk around these topics because something has to happen. And I'm not about the sugar dancing. So I very few people I have these conversations with because I don't want to hear, I don't want to hear it. Just don't have the energy.
People's lives depend on it.
People's lives depend upon it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, my sister. Take it easy, okay?
Thank you. Have a great one.
You're quite welcome. Bye-bye. Woody, are you there? Woody?
Yeah, I'm here, but the lady's gone.
Oh, you wanted to talk to her. Okay, so that's all right. So I have guests coming on in another couple of minutes.
Well, do you want me to call you back then? I want to get out of your way. I just wanted to ask her a few questions, but if that's okay,
wait a minute,
I can
hold
catch
on.
her on the next go-round.
I'll tell you when to call back.
Okay.
Call me back at... Dang.
You're moving fast, aren't you?
Oh man, I'm telling you, this my schedule is my lineup is hot today.
Yeah, that was all good there. She's in the right direction there, and I just wanted to share something I thought could help a great deal.
Okay. All right. So give me about till 3:45, 3:50. Can you call me back then?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make sure you're my last caller.
Yes.
Thank you, my brother.
All
Take
right.
it easy. Okay? All right. Bye-bye. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Are you an educator looking for a life-changing opportunity? Youth Build Philly Charter School might be the home for you. Apply to Youth Build to join a family of educators dedicated to learning and growing with young people. Check out current opportunities at youthbuildphilly.org or follow them on social media at YouthBuildPHL. Join Youth Build today. Youth Build is now accepting applications for the class of 2021.
This Word Wellness Vignette is brought to you by AARP. Word Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation.
Hi, this is Halana, your resident health and wellness coach with tips to help you stay well. Have you ever heard someone say, "You're way too serious," and you thought, they couldn't be talking about me? Well, let's face it, sometimes the hardships of life get our faces and our moods all tied in a bunch. Sometimes we forget to smile and enjoy life's simple things. Lightening your life with laughter can look like this. Number 1, watch a funny movie by yourself or with family. Number 2, revisit your favorite comedian's stand-up special. Number 3, doodle, draw, or play a card game with the children in your life. See the world through their eyes. We sometimes think in order to laugh, we have to do specific things. Yet, we can choose to find joy all around us every day. Go ahead and try it today. Stay well with Word. Happy living.
Stay well with Word. Connect with us at WURDradio.com. This Word Wellness Vignette was brought to you by AARP Pennsylvania.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I'm seeing all your comments on Facebook and on YouTube. Funny 4 screens just running up and down all over here. And so I want to tell you all, each and every one of you, I cannot read all your comments, but I appreciate you. Malcolm, Dwayne, I see Joanne Kemp on here over on YouTube, Sonia, Melissa Brunson, Nicole Streets, Rosalind, all of you are on here. Linda Shields, I love you all. Diane Fassett, Gary Bryant, Cheryl Brown, Viola Richburg. I'm telling you, you're on it today. Thank you so much. I'll read some of these comments when I have a moment, but I just want to let you know what we see and appreciate that you're here. While I'm waiting for my next guest to show up, let me take quickly Tyrone. How are you, my brother?
I am wonderful, Mother. How are you?
I'm good. What can I do for you, sir? Now, Tyrone,
Mother,
before we get... Wait. Tyrone, hold on, Tyrone. Before we get started, if my guest pops in while we're talking, I'm going to have to cut you off. Is that all right?
And I'll just wait till y'all finish.
All right, well, go ahead. Come on, talk to me now.
Well, anyway, Mother, I really appreciate the young lady saying the many things that she said, but the one thing she said is that we have so many fires coming at us that we tend to lose focus of the battle. The battle is that we got folks who are shooting up the community, you know, putting folks to the point where folks don't know if they want to be a witness, don't want to get involved. So we're dealing with a lot of different elements. And, Mother, my thing is, I keep saying, we need to focus on the shooters. Those are the folks who are creating the hardship, you know, creating the problem, creating the havoc in our community.
Okay.
And we are continuing saying it's this person, that person, this thing. It is not this person, that person, this thing. It's those who are doing the shooting.
Okay, Mother, but here, let me, wait, hold on, Tyrone, hold on. Bear with Mother for a second. Melissa said something that was striking. Where are the guns coming from? There are no gun manufacturing plants anywhere near here. So where are the guns coming from to come into our communities?
Mother, I mean, the guns are there. I know for a fact, if I had a gun when I was coming up, I'd have shot a whole lot of people.
Right.
But I just didn't have access or didn't want to have access to a gun because I know I would have shot people. So the idea is those folks who have this tendency that they are going to shoot people no matter what. They're going to shoot people whether there's a camera there. They're going to shoot people whether there's a baby there. They're even shooting people when the cops are there. So the idea is that we keep saying, more cops, more money, more this. We got to deal with the mentality of those folks who are doing the shooting. And a lot of them, they're, you know, many of them who may have mental issues, but, you know, the anger, the frustration, you know, things just coming at them just put them in a situation where they lose control. That's
so listen to this. So listen to this. This was written by. This was written by.
I always want to listen.
All right. So this was written by CNN. Emma Tucker, Omar Jimenez, and Christina Squiglia. More than 230 people were fatally shot in shootings over the 4th of July weekend in this country. 230 people died. 233 people were killed, and 618 people were injured in gun violence in more than 500 shootings across the country during the 4th of July weekend.
My nephew last week, who worked 2 jobs, I have a day and nighttime job, planning to work on getting his master's. He was killed in a crossfire. I mean, you know, we keep looking at the numbers, but we're not looking at the
people. But here's what
Okay,
but here's
ahead,
the thing:
I
it was
this
233 people that were killed is a 26% drop from last year's holiday weekend, right? Last year, this time, it was 314 fatal shootings with 751 injuries. So the numbers are coming down, nice, but we still have to deal with what's going on in our communities. Far too many people are being shot and killed, and it's our young men more than anybody else.
And so, Mother, the only thing I'm trying to say is we need to focus on the killing, the shooting. There's not, not there are many guns, not that, all of the historical stuff that got us like this, not that the police not doing their job or the politicians are not. We got to get away from that because that is not stopping the killing.
Okay, but hold on. So wait a minute. Can we do? But Tyrone, can we do both? And because we still need our politicians to do. We need our elected officials to do their jobs. That is important, right? And if we had more people stepping in the gap, doing what they're supposed to do to make sure that our communities are safe. That's why they're there. They're not there to take up space and collect a check, right? So everybody has to work together in tandem. It's not either or. It's both and. You understand what I'm saying?
Please let me. I'm agreeing and understanding everything the folks who are feeling some kind of way feel.
Yes.
But I'm saying the attention and the focus. We can spend some of that energy where we're saying this person and that person. We can spend some of that energy on trying to deal with those who are creating the shooting.
So then we need to get. All right, I need to get off the phone because I have other people on here.
All right,
wait. Hold on, Tyrone. Don't hang up yet.
Okay.
Then we need people to start naming people. We need people to become witnesses. We keep talking about dealing with the shooters, but if you know who the shooters are and you're saying absolutely nothing, then what's the point? If the cops can't find them, but you know it's Boo Boo down the corner, and he living with Pookie and Ray Ray and them, and that's what's happening, and you know they have like 6 murders on their hands, but you don't want to say nothing because you don't want to be a snitch, or you worry about your own life, then how do we, we've got to figure this thing out. We keep saying we need to focus on the shooters, but who's going to name the shooters? Because we know, if they're in our families, we know who they are, right?
You're right. Oh, okay.
Tyrone here.
Yes, Mother, you're correct. You are so correct about that.
Yep. And and everybody's talking. Even the young brother that was shot. Patricia Wright says we are hurting. And answer that brother who owned the store was a great brother, and it's true. Even the police officers were like, "Oh my God, when does it stop?" And I said to my husband, he put up a thing on Instagram that says 6 p.m. tonight, come on through. Anybody that was targeting or had nefarious thoughts, he's trying to do something good in his community and ended up losing his life in a hail of bullets. Like, when do we stop? So you just have to believe that something else is going on here. We've got to get better.
There you go.
Jesus.
There you go. And Mother, I'm agreeing with everything you're saying, but I'm just trying to again make us put more attention on those who are creating the problem as opposed to those who are supposed to be solving the problem.
Yeah,
Let's
I got
put
you,
more
Tom.
time on creating the problem. And other thing, Mother, what you just said, folks got to make a decision. You got to make a decision. Either you want your community to be safe or you don't. Now, if you're scared that, you putting your family or yourself in jeopardy by doing something to keep your community or in your block and your house safe, then, all you doing is just going to be a victim at some point down the line.
Yeah, I got
Mother,
you.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah, and Tyrone.
You allow me to say it.
And Tyrone, our condolences to you and your family.
Yes,
okay?
Look, I'm telling you. And Mother, he used to be my summer, he worked in my summer program for a few years, and I'm just telling you, a fantastic individual, just caught up. And in between, even, just left his daytime job, getting ready to go to his nighttime. I mean, and so the folks who are doing the shooting, they don't care nothing about And that is something we got to work on. We got to work on getting folks out of this mentality that they can pull the trigger like it ain't nothing.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you.
That's my contribution. Again, thank you, brother, for allowing me.
All right, bye-bye. You're welcome, my brother. Ah, Father. L, Germantown, how are you?
I'm okay. I've been listening to you. I've been listening to you for a while. I really like the topics that you bring up in the conversation. And you have some educated callers. But the purpose of me calling is I'm looking for solutions.
Yes.
Because I think that right now we do a lot of talk. We know what the problems are. But we're not coming to the table collectively. We don't have to wait for a politician. We don't have to wait for a community organizer. It's us. We know the problem. We know that we have the answers. Everything that you spoke about today, you had a guest that came on. She's on point. Definitely. She sees the problem and she sees answers. And I think that that's something that we need to focus on yesterday. Right now, our community is under serious stress. We're being attacked from
every angle.
This racist thing that's going on. It's coming after our votes. They want to minimize us. But we have to be smarter than that now, because we are really. I just think it comes down to the organization of us. I wanted to put it out there to say, if we could, I have a location that if we could meet on one specific date, we call together the community, anybody that wants to participate, and we come to the table and we bring our solutions to what the problems that we know exist. I think that can be a good start, so that when we walk away from the table or the meeting, we have an agenda, whether it's how we deal with the politician, if he's in position and he's not doing his job, well, we collectively pull together and we move him out and we move somebody in place that's going to represent us and our agenda. That has to be done, because without it, we're going to be doing a lot of just talking, because that's what we've been doing a lot of over the years, a lot of talking. There's not enough action. There's not enough of it, because it shows in the condition that we're in today. These murders that are going on.
And we continue
to get about it.
Yeah, and we continue to get emotional about it instead of starting to simply, in right where we are, what can we change just right where we are? And I don't think we understand that if we organize, it would make such a huge difference. The fish that is chasing us, we would all turn around and swallow it whole. You know what I mean? But we have to get there. And because we're so traumatized, there's so much infighting, and it's designed to be just so. So my goal is to make sure that we get to a place where we start to see beyond the red and the blue pill and get to understand that we have to heal. In order for us to heal, we have to find simple ways to do some things we need.
So let's do what you just said. It's the same thing I'm saying. Let us meet. We don't need 1,000 people at one time. If it takes 5 of us, if it takes 10 of us, and it grows to 50, but we have an agenda, we have a goal, and while we're moving forward to make whatever that agenda is, we see progress now. We don't have time to wait until the last minute, and then they snatch you can't vote no more. That's what they're putting in place right now. They take that away.
Agreed.
You have no say.
You got that right. You've been sucking salt.
I'm using that for instance, because that's what's real. It's happening in your face right now.
Yeah.
So,
sir,
in order to change that, I'm saying let's meet. Okay. Let's meet. Okay. I can make a place available where we can meet and we come up with an agenda, because right now, black people don't have a plan.
So can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor, please? Because my next guest is in the waiting room. I'm seeing them. Can you leave your phone number with Michael and we'll figure it out? All right?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I know I have Susan Slauson in the waiting room. I'm going to get her in a second. I have 2 more minutes. Let me quickly take Elias. Are you there?
Hey, Mother, how you doing?
Child, you all are wearing me out.
Listen, I'm only going to say it short and sweet, but number one, first and foremost, Melissa, oh my God, I'm in love with her.
Ain't she the truth? Ain't she the truth, Elias? She's the truth.
Oh my God, she is all that. And you know what? I wish you can give her my number, because you know what? I have, I'm short and swift on things about what's going on in our community, because I live in the deep woods of where the crime is going on. And I want to possibly share things with her and ideas to make awareness to our people.
Okay, can you leave your phone number with Michael, please, and we'll get it to her?
Okay, all right.
All right. Thank you, my brother. All right, bye-bye. All right, last person, and I literally have a minuet because I've got to go to break. Gary, how you doing, sir?
Okay, I'm good. Let me try to get this in real quick. You know, Andrea, we can talk about all the problems. Ultimately, we're responsible for our actions, but we have individuals who have neglected us, oppressed us, and we're part of it. You know, you can't keep blaming the victim, okay? And our people that are supposed to be representing us are not doing a really good job at all. And we've got to come together and try to do better, but we're traumatized people, and that's just a fact. Thank you.
You're welcome, my brother. Thank you so much. That was this. Now, see, how come y'all can't call and be like Gary? That was 25 seconds. Sonia, listen, I do get some respite after the show. The content is always heavy, always packed with a lot. And when you hear me say that I'm riding my bicycle 10, 15, 20, 30 miles, I hiked 11 miles on Sunday. I am not playing in these streets. I am taking care of my mental well-being, because my husband will come find all of y'all if something happened to me. You are listening to The Source. Coming up next is the woman who is going to talk to us about the Dell Open Summer Concert season at the Dell. Oh, I love my people at the Dell. Father God, I can't wait to have this conversation. We need a little light and levity in this room, because we've just talked about heavy things all afternoon. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM. And Michael, you are not doing this to me right now. See, Michael, you really think I like you that much, right? Let me see if I can find it for you. Hold on one second. Are you looking for a job? WURD has got you covered. We just launched a brand new job portal featuring jobs from some of Philadelphia's leading companies and arts organizations. If you go to the portal right now, you will see jobs from WURD Radio, the Kimmel Center, Her Foods, Always Best Care, and more. Apply for a job today. Go to our livelihood website at wordworks.com. That's WURDworks.com and click jobs. Let me try this again. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Hey, WURD family, did you hear? It's official. The Colorectal Cancer Alliance just announced the new age for colon cancer screenings has been officially lowered to age 45 for everyone. If you are 45 or older, it's time to get screened. Go to wordradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner to register for your free at-home screening test. Did you know colon cancer is largely preventable with on-time screening? And there's a 90% survival rate when caught early. African Americans are 20% more likely to get colon cancer and about 40% more likely to die from it than most other groups. So for the next 3 months, you can go to wordradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner for your free at-home screening test. A screening navigator will contact you to ask a few questions and help you get screened. It's that simple. Again, just go to wordradio.com, click on the Go to Know banner, and fill out the form to request your free at-home screening test. Go to Know today.
At Bank of America, we're helping to meet the need for more affordable housing through community development banking.
I'm Jim Dever, President of Bank of America, Greater Philadelphia. My teammates and I are deepening our commitment to help meet the affordable housing need. Here in Greater Philadelphia, we're also collaborating with Habitat for Humanity Philadelphia to expand options for more people. What would you like the power to do?
Bank of America N.A. member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. One of my favorite people is on. She has blonde hair. Look at Jesus. Hi, Miss Lawson. How are you?
I am well. How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. I see we're both sporting blonde hair.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. We're twins, Andrea.
Yes. COVID has prevented us from talking to each other. But let me just tell you, I'm seeing those chairs behind you, and I'm having flashbacks. I am so ooh, look at all those seats. The Dell Music Center summer program. Tell us what's out.
I am looking, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have to put my screen up, but I wanted you to see the Dell, the venue, to see how beautiful it looks even when it's empty this time of year.
Oh my gosh. Can I just tell you, we heard my friend Connie Greer, we do the old school, the basement party.
So I am having a hard time hearing you.
You can't hear me at all? Can you hear me at all?
I'm having a hard time hearing you, Andrea.
Okay, because I can hear you very clearly. I can hear you very clearly, Susan.
Okay, I don't know if it's my phone.
I think it's on your end. I think it's on your end. Can you go into a quieter spot? Maybe you'll be able to hear me a little bit better.
I could hear you initially. Now I'm struggling.
And then you're gone. Right. Oh my goodness, this is not good. All right, I'm going to turn this off and see.
So can we do this?
Yes.
Because I want to make sure we can talk.
Yes.
You've had an opportunity to see the background of the Dell.
I have, yes.
You had an opportunity to see that you and I are twinning right here about the head.
Yes.
I love it.
So
I'm going to hang up and I'm calling in because I want to make sure that I can hear you and we can have a conversation.
Okay, will do. Will do.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, so while we're waiting for her to call back in, the Dell Music Center, honey, has gotten their concert series together on Sunday, August 1st. Whoo, Lord, listen, Thursday, August 5th, it's Tank, SWV, Drew Hill. Let me just see. Lord, the Isley Brothers, Father! Thursday, August 19th is the Isley Brothers. And we have, oh my Lord, the old school basement party celebrating 40 years in radio. Lady B basement party. Lord. So much is going on. EPMD, LC Rock. It's a welcome back to the 2021 Essence of Entertainment, the Dell Music Center. Let me just tell you something. I love my people so much that every year for the Dell, for 2019, I had season tickets. I so enjoyed sitting smack dab in the middle of my people. Is she on, Michael? Okay, put her back on for me, please. Susan?
I'm here.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So nice to hear your voice.
Nice to hear you, too. So listen, I'm telling the people all about the Dell and all the wonderful things that are happening there. And I shared a little bit about the people that are going to be on. So when did the concert start? Have they started already?
And so, no, they have not started. So normally we would, if this was a normal season, but coming off of COVID, like so many other venues and so many other establishments, things had to be a little different this summer. And so normally we would be having our first concert on this upcoming Thursday, because it's always the Thursday after the 4th of July. But because of COVID and because the restrictions were lifted, a little later than we hoped, but they were lifted, and so that's really all that matters. We were able to jump in 6 weeks ago and start preparing. When we normally have 6 months to 8 months to try to prepare and get the season set. And so we're only going to have 6 concerts, and they're all going to be in August, because we're trying to still make sure that we're doing things and we're going to be safe and we're mindful of people coming together in large crowds. And so instead of us having our concerts in July, we'll only have August concerts starting August the 1st. And this August 1st show is unbelievable. Jeffrey Osborne, Peebo Bryce, and Regina Bell.
You're about
We're
to
calling
make me
that
cancel.
a night of love.
You're about to make me cancel my ticket that I was going to go see my son and go hang out with you at the Dell.
But you know what's wonderful is that when we started this project, 2009, one of the goals for us that people would make decisions about their vacation based on what was going on at the Dell Music Center. And let me tell you, people do that. Not just the people here in Philadelphia, people in other states plan their vacation here based on what we have going on in Philadelphia. Is that awesome or what?
It is awesome. So are the tickets on sale yet? Because I'm trying to get tickets for the Lady B Basement Party August 15th.
Absolutely on sale. So our box office opened on June the 28th. Andrea, can I tell you, people are so happy to be back at the Dell Music Center. There were people here at 1:30 a.m. lined up to purchase their tickets. The next people that were interested in tickets showed up at 3:30. The next group of people showed up at 5:30 a.m. and stood in line until our box office is open at 9 a.m. I love that fact that people are so excited and so loyal, and they believe in what we do here at the Dell Music Center.
Can I tell you why so many people were lined up? It is a respite for us. We love music. When we get into the Dell, and I am speaking from experience, when you get into the Dell, it's like one big family. There's no fighting, there's no shoving, there's no anything. People who don't know each other from a can of paint are loving up on one another. We're all dancing and jigging in the hall, in the walkways, just having a good time. The people who are showing us to our seats are amazing. They're kind, they're efficient. You know, even when we're doing something that we're not supposed to be doing, they'll come over and they'll gently say, ma'am, can you sit down, please, because you're holding up the crowd. People can't see in front of you, you know. But it's an atmosphere that is, and especially in the times that we're in right now, we need you. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? We absolutely need you. So listen, y'all, the tickets are on sale at the Dell Music Center right now. Concerts start on August 1st. I'm about to call my son and tell him he's going to have to see his mother in September. Because Jeffrey Osborne, Peebo Bryson, Regina Bell, stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And guess what? This ticket, if it's not already sold out, it's just about, it may be sold out. Our August the 5th concert with Tank, SWV, and Drew Hill. Can I tell you, last week I was in the box office just checking out, seeing, you know, what the ticket sales were like. She said, we don't have many tickets left for this concert. That was last week.
So Susan, where's Marva going to fit? Because I have to get into at least one concert.
You know, you will be in the house. You know, another great show. I'm sure you're familiar with Gregory Porter.
Yes, that
Gregory Porter is the first time we're able to present him as the headliner. We are super hyped about the fact that he's going to be the headliner, which means he gets more time on the stage, gets an opportunity just to be more involved with the people that are coming to listen to music that night. And Stokely and Leela James, that's August 12th.
All right. Are there any tickets left for the Lady B Basement Party? Can I at least get some? Can I buy some tickets for that?
So the Lady
we
B
got
Basement
Roxanne
Party, and you know what? Her 40th year in radio.
Yes.
Lady B and I graduated high school together.
Wow.
I am so honored and excited to be able to have her here with Big Daddy Kane, MPMD, Cool Mo D, Sugar Hill Gang, Furious 5, Grandmaster. You know what? Millie Mill and Scorpio. That show right there, there are some tickets left for you.
Oh, please. Just tell me where to come pick them up. I will buy them. I need 2.
Okay.
Two tickets, Susan. I will compare. We have not missed a basement party since she's been having basement parties. And I don't even take my husband. I bring Connie with me. And I tell folks, if you see me and if you know me, pretend you don't know me for the next 5 hours. Just pretend. Don't record me.
Because this right here is just going to be you having fun on the music that we grew up on, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now, let me ask you this. How can people call the box office? How can they get tickets?
So you can get tickets 2 ways. You can come to our box office. Our box office is open Monday through Friday from 9 until 5. And please know you can go on Ticketmaster, Ticketmaster.com. And you can go to the DellMusicCenter.com, and you can click and go right to Ticketmaster.
Okay, wordradiomusic.com. Can I tell you, though, I've always come to the Dell Music Center to get my tickets. I don't know why. And there's something about the experience of standing in the line and talking. I don't even know if you fully realized what you have done in this city with that concert series, how you have brought a whole city together where we're not fighting or doing anything but loving on each other and listening to music.
Andrea, people stood in line on June the 28th for 6 and 7 hours. There were no incidents. We were giving them water. We were giving them hot dogs. We were giving them tips. We were trying to just say thank you. I went from the beginning of the line all the way down, from our box office window, all the way down to almost Lehigh Avenue, which is where the line went. Yes. And people stood there for hours, and I went to every person in that line and thanked them for, one, coming back to the Dell and being such loyal customers. We appreciate Philadelphia. We appreciate the people that drive from other states to stand in line to purchase tickets. And so it's an opportunity for me to say we recognize just how much you love coming here and being family, because you already mentioned it. This is a family environment. This is a time where people come, they let their hair down, they know there's not going to be any issues. It's going to be nothing but wonderful music that takes you back to that happy place in your life, and you can have a wonderful time enjoying the people that are surrounding you.
Susan Slauson, General Manager for the Dell Music Center. I cannot wait to see you and give you a COVID-free hug and thank you for everything that you've done. I am going to come down there. Please tell them to put my tickets aside. I'm coming to buy my tickets. Please, ma'am.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'll come get my tickets.
What about these Isley Brothers?
Oh, you know what?
Price,
Stop
August
it.
the 19th.
Stop it. Stop it.
5 decades. Going on 6 decades of music.
Yes.
The Isley Brothers will be here on this stage.
And Ernie
So
Isley,
excited.
Lord have mercy with that guitar. Thank you so much. I'll be down there. I'll call you because I think I still do have your phone number. So I'll call you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And we'll see you. I'll see all of you at the Dell Music Center for the new Essence 2021 concert series. Thank you so much, Susan Slauson. Always a pleasure, okay?
Same here. Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So listen, the good thing about Dell, and I know I'm running a minute over time here, but I need to say this. The tickets are so affordable that even the people who can't afford a regular seat can bring their lawn chairs and buy a lawn ticket for little and nothing. They make it so accessible to the people in this city. This is where I can pull up and just hug, just a big collective hug of folks with their hot dogs and their hot sauce and their fried chicken and their this and their that, and they're loving on one another. Thank you so much. The 2021 Essence of Entertainment, welcome back. Dell Music Center. Concert series starts on August 1st with Drew Hill, Lord have mercy, SWV, Tank, No, it doesn't. That's not who they start with. That's the second group. The first group is, let me see if I can get this right again. Welcome back. Quickly, I've got to get this because I'm running late now. Jeffrey Osborne, Peebo Bryson, and Regina Bell. Oh, but the Isley Brothers and the Lady B Basement Party is who I must see. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
AARP is working to protect Americans 50 plus by making sure you have the latest information about the COVID-19 vaccines and the distribution plans in Pennsylvania. Just visit aarp.org/PA vaccine to learn who's eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine, when, where, and how to get it in Philadelphia and the rest of the Commonwealth, and what you might want to discuss with your doctor. That's aarp.org/PA vaccine.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Michael, am I back on? Welcome back to The Source. Michael, can you hear me? Welcome back to the source. Michael, can you hear me? Okay, good. I had some dead air there, and I don't like to have dead air. So, all right. We have, where am I? I want to make sure at 3 p.m. I am assuming you'll let me know if my 3 p.m. guest gets in, please, Michael. But we have a little bit of time now, so I'm going to read some more articles here for all of you. I did talk about the 35,000 Philly residents who have applied for rent relief as spending deadlines loom, so we're going to hope that the city makes sure that they get what they need. I'm looking over here on YouTube, and I see Dwayne and Lola and group having a whole conversation about blonde hair. So there are whole groups of people of color who are born with blonde hair. When I was born, my hair was a reddish blonde. So I just, you know, this is a phase that I am in, and I know that some people don't agree with it, and that's cool. And everybody's entitled to their opinion. I love my blonde hair. It won't last forever. In the wintertime, I'm a redhead. In the summertime, I'm something else, you know, and so this is it for me. But just see the woman that's inside of the blonde head, and let's not fight about the blonde hair, okay? Because we have so much going on that we can talk about. So let's see. Family files lawsuit against St. Louis and its police over shooting death of a Black Army veteran during a no-knock warrant execution. Don Clark Sr. was fatally shot in his home by SWAT team officers in 2017. Jesus, it's 4 years later. Attorneys dispute what police say happened the night of his death. Just over 3 years before Breonna Taylor was shot and killed by police, I just want to make sure who wrote this article. So this is the root. Zach Lindley wrote this. Another medium that I want to write for. I love the writers at the root. They're allowed to use their authentic voices. They're smart as hell, but are allowed to write in their own authentic voices, their opinions, and it's great. I love that they got that platform. Just over 3 years before Breonna Taylor was shot and killed by police officers executing a no-knock warrant, a 60-year-old Black Army veteran was killed in St. Louis during the same type of operation. The case is eerily similar to that of Taylor's, according to a federal lawsuit filed Wednesday by the victim's family. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch reports, let me see, Michael. All right, so is she on the line or in the Zoom room? Where is she? On the line, Michael? Let me just finish the story and then I'll take her. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch reports that the lawsuit over the February 21, 2017 shooting death of Don Clark Sr. names the city of St. Louis and more than 20 of its police officers as defendants. Michael, okay, thank you, Michael. I'll take her in 1 second. The suit was filed on behalf of Clark's family by attorneys for the civil rights group Arch City Defenders, and it alleges that warrants were obtained illegally, that the victim was shot while he was sleeping, and that authorities had no reason to target his home in the first place, all of which bears striking resemblance to the details revolving around Breonna Taylor's case. Clark's home was reportedly one of 3 on the same block that was raided that night as a result of a months-long drug investigation, but the lawsuit alleges that there was no reason for authorities to believe drugs were being bought or sold into the home, and that the officer who obtained the warrant was deceptive. So, yeah, there we go. I do want to get to my 3 o'clock guest because I have, thank you, Gary Thomas. He says he loves the show. So let me just go ahead. Chad Williamson never called in, so I wanted to make sure he's okay. Jessamine Stanley, I'm hoping that I got your name correct. She is an internationally acclaimed voice in wellness, highly sought after for her insights on 21st century yoga and intersectional identity. She is the founder of The Underbelly, a streaming wellness app and community, co-host of the podcast Dear Jess, I hope I'm saying her name properly, Jessamine, and co-founder of We Go High, a North Carolina-based cannabis justice initiative. She's a regular contributor to Self magazine, has been featured on the cover of Cosmopolitan in the United Kingdom, and covered in the New York Times, Vogue, Glamour, and Sports Illustrated, among many other domestic and international media outlets. She is also the author of Yoke, My Yoga of Self-Acceptance and Everybody Yoga. Let go of fear, get on the mat, and love your body. Good afternoon, Jessamine. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me.
Am I saying your name correctly?
You are. I was going to say yes. That is exactly right. It's like if Jessica and Jasmine had a baby.
Oh, Jessica and Jasmine had a baby. I love that. Jessamine, thank you so much. Welcome to The Source. So,
thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. So I don't know if you heard the first hour or two of this show. There's a lot of trauma. Folks are talking about the violence in our city. They're talking about the, 3 of my friends have lost children to gun violence in the last 2 weeks. I'm watching people on social media saying their nephews, their nieces, their daughters, their sons are being shot, and the trauma. And so the level of trauma is at an all-time high, and folks are, in my opinion, not taking the time to love on their bodies. Take deep cleansing breaths. And so we're wound up so tightly, the slightest thing sets people off. We get offended by the slightest thing, not realizing that it's the trauma that's consistently manifesting itself to us. So tell us about your funny and honest essays, where you explore everything from the imposter syndrome to why it's a full-time job loving yourself, all through the lens of yoke.
Well, that's really the crux of everything, is that ultimately we're all just trying to accept ourselves. And I think the reality is that living life is suffering, that trauma is a part of life. And I think very often we try to pretend as though we're happy all the time, or that only good things should happen. But that's not how it is. There's often horrifying things that happen.
Right.
And everything that happens is happening on purpose. It's happening for a reason. And there are many, many lessons for each individual to learn. And I think that the reason behind yoke and the reason behind practicing yoga, the reason of all of this is just to get to a place where it's not about whether or not something is good or bad. It just is, and you can just accept it for what it is, and that there is deep healing and liberation in that acceptance. And I think, so the essays they're funny in the way that life is funny, and funny with a very dry sense of humor. I think they're honest in the way that I would hope that hope to be honest, hope to just tell the truth. But there's so much that sits at the center of the intersections of our identity. And for me personally, that has meant accepting my internalized racism. It's meant accepting my sexism, my slut-shaming. It's meant accepting that I culturally appropriate yoga. It's meant accepting this weird balance of capitalism and spirituality and what that really looks like, and that the process may not be pretty and it may not be fun all the time, but that it's deeply healing.
Wow. You're intriguing to me. You're talking about consumerism, the cultural appropriation, and even racism. You're writing about tarot, music, and cannabis. Like, you are literally laying bare, with no qualms whatsoever, every ism that you have been a part of, or that you're acknowledging, right? Something that many, many people can. How did you get there? How did you get to that place of self-acceptance?
Not by choice. I would say it was not something that I have thought, I'd love to just accept myself. I have been very comfortable not accepting myself. I used to think that yoga was just something for people who hang out at health food stores. I didn't think it had anything to do with me or the way that I live my life. I honestly thought that yoga was just for thin white women. And it has been through understanding that first of all, that yoga is for everybody, that it doesn't have anything to do with what you look like or where you're from or how much money you have or don't have. It's all about just connecting to your breath, so that as long as you can breathe, you can live this practice. And in addition to that when you start practicing yoga, you might start practicing because of the physical benefits, and there are many: increased flexibility, strength, a sense of groundedness within yourself. But once you actually start
practicing in that way, inevitably there's all this other stuff that gets kicked up too.
Right.
And that's where the acceptance piece comes in. So that in the same way that when you're practicing yoga postures, you have to accept your wobbling. You have to accept where your hips do and don't want to go. You have to accept all these physical things. In that same way, you have to accept the emotional and mental layers of yourself as well. And that's really where the acceptance has come from. And I would say that it is a moment-by-moment journey. Literally, like, every day is different for me. I don't feel like, wow, yeah, I figured out self-acceptance. I'm like, man, I'm on the journey just like everybody else. And yoga is just a reflection of my journey.
You know, I had an aha moment talking to you. I can't stand yoga, but I realize it's because not because yoga is doing anything. I find that I tell myself that I am not flexible enough for yoga. But what I am finding is as I am lifting 300-400 pounds, as I'm pushing 500 pounds across the gym floor, as I'm climbing mountains and I'm doing all the things, what bothers me most about yoga is that I don't have control over it. Right? I can get on my bicycle and ride. I can climb at my pace. I can choose the kind of weights that I'm picking up. I can box. I can, all those things. But with yoga, I have to learn how to center myself and breathe and allow my body to calm down enough to let it do what it can and can't do. Right? And I get frustrated because I have lost control. You just taught me something about myself in that short time that I'm talking to you. Because I'm like, why do I despise yoga? So my friends do yoga, and I'm like, not doing it. I do it once a year on the art museum steps.
But you know what I would say to that is that there's so many. I think this is probably the most common thing that people say about yoga is that they're like, you know, I've been to yoga. It sucks. I don't know why you're so excited about it. It's the worst. And like when I go, I can't do the postures. Like this thing is hard for me, etc. And I'm always like, that is the yoga. That experience of seeing yourself and seeing what happens when you have to. When you are pushed to your limit or when things don't go your way, that's the whole practice. So that I'm always like, if you had a bad time at yoga, that's perfect. It sounds like a good yoga practice to me. It sounds like you got everything you needed. So I love that.
Yes. Where can people find the book?
You can find the book literally anywhere the books are sold, and if you want to find a listing of those places, you can go to jessaminestanley.com. You can also find all of my events there as well, and you can follow me on social media at My Name is Jessamine. You can also follow my yoga studio, The Underbelly, at The Underbelly Yoga, and you can try a 2-week free trial at theunderbelly.com.
Underbelly. And where are you located?
I am based in Durham, North Carolina.
You are in North Carolina? Okay, so another person I'm coming to visit. Okay. So I have a project that I work on every year where I drive across the country and back. It has garnered the attention of some folks who want me to do this and to record some of the things that I'm doing. And so one of the first places I'm coming through is North Carolina. So I'm going to make sure that I stay in touch, and the people that I've been meeting on the air that are living in different parts of the country, I am going to intentionally reach out and touch those. I'd like to come and experience your yoga studio. I can only stay for a day or two, but, you know, it'll be great. That's good. That is absolutely good. So
let's definitely keep in touch.
Yes, we will. Okay. Are you open?
So the Underbelly is an online studio, and I do teach classes in person as well. Yeah.
Okay.
But I was going to say that my partner and I have actually recently decided to do exactly the same thing that you were describing. We are going to be living in an RV for the foreseeable future and traveling around the country. Our goal is to visit all 48 continental states and visit a landmark in each one. So somewhere along the journey, I'm sure our paths will meet.
Yes. The only 2 states that I have not seen is Alabama and Mississippi, if you can believe it. And so those are my goals this year. I mean, we've gone from Philadelphia to Seattle, Washington, and driven back. We've gone through the whole Middle States and driven back. I mean, we have gone. And it has garnered the attention of quite a few people who are just like, you are. We call it the 2 Brown Crayons Tour. And we have stopped and had and really found acceptance in ourselves, found acceptance in meeting people where they are. And I have to tell you, the amount of women that have stopped us and said, how were you able to do this? Aren't you afraid? Fear is a mask that we wear so often. You know, we prepare ourselves and we go. And it's very important because it gives me the breadth and the depth the same way it's going to give to you, Jessamine, to really fully open up even more and meeting people where they are versus, you know, trying to get people to understand where you're coming from, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We waste a lot of time, a lot of energy on things that could be best served for other things. So your book, The Yoke, My Yoga of Self-Acceptance, Workman Publishing, on sale on June 22nd. So you just went on sale. And you, yeah, I got to get this book. You write generously and openly about your search for authenticity. Yeah.
Yes,
I think
it
this
is all about being yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And it's something that I've said to people all the time. People get so afraid. Aren't you afraid people are going to say this? Aren't you afraid that people are going to say that? No. Because when you can't be your authentic self, there's always something missing. And your authenticity may not look like what everybody thinks it should be in mainstream, you know, living. And so the fact that you're picking up in an RV with your partner and going across the 40-acre ticket, I hope I run into you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you. And the fact that you're taking the time to do this, record your journey. You know, you'll be surprised. Do a lot of journaling because that's fun. You'll probably turn into another book or two, Jessamine. I'm telling you.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Well, we shall see what the future holds.
Yes. And if you go to visit Yellowstone Mountain, please be aware that you're going to need bear spray because you will run into bears.
We were just talking about that, actually.
I just want you to
literally,
know.
yeah.
I am not going to talk about the bear experience on the air, but just know you're going to run into bears. Okay.
Oh Lord, we all gonna learn. That's what's gonna happen if we all learn.
That's right. That's right. Jessamine Stanley, thank you so much. Your book is Yoke, My Yoga of Self-Acceptance. Sold anywhere books are sold. This young lady is doing some amazing things here. So get her book, and you can find her at Jessamine Stanley. And her yoga studio is online at the Underbelly Yoga, which is great because if you're traveling and you're out on the mountainside somewhere, can you imagine opening up your screen and saying,
exactly,
the pose? I can't wait. That's great. So maybe we'll find you online when we stop somewhere, and we'll do our yoga wherever we are at that moment. All right? Thank you so much for being a part of The Source. I look forward to hearing more from you, okay?
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. So, someone like Jessamine Stanley is someone that intrigues me personally because I see right into the souls of folks when I stand in front of them, and we wear these masks all the time. I call them the masks of clay, where we think we're putting on a performance that we're only showing people the side of us that they want us to see, and we pretend that we're meditating and that we're yoga masters. But Jessamine tells you she is looking at all of the warts, every part of who she is, because if you don't know what your warts are, you cannot be authentic. You will always play a game. And what you will find is you're around people and they can't be around you. They can't stay around you for too long because something about you is breathing darkness and inauthentic. You're just not authentic. And so we want to really stay in that authentic place. And you just don't want to worry so much about what other people may think or want you to do. Live your best life, because as you can see with what's going on in this country, tomorrow is not promised. The next breath is not promised. But I guarantee you, I want you all to sit down and look and say, if I died today or tomorrow, would I have done everything I ever wanted to do? Can I tell you my answer is yes? I have tried everything. I went splashing, climbing, doing, and they're looking at me and they're going, but you're middle-aged. Well, so what does that mean? Are you telling yourself that if you get to a certain age, you can't climb a mountain, that you can't lift heavy weights, that you can't ride in an RV, that you can't travel across the country, that you can't do anything you want to do? You can do anything anything you want to do. And the payoff from that is you meet people. I met a man who had never seen a black person in his life until he laid eyes on my friends and I. And he said everything he learned he saw on the news. So I invited him to breakfast. I couldn't believe that a black woman was paying for his breakfast. I paid for his breakfast, living la vida loca, and had a good old conversation with him. My husband and I went to breakfast on Saturday, met a couple that was just, you know, he was holding his wife's parking spot. We parked next to them, and I jumped out the car and started having a conversation, ended up sitting with them and having breakfast, had never met them before in my life, and we just had a wonderful time. That's what we mean when we say healing comes when we don't just think about ourselves and being inclusive. And yes, Khaki Evans, I still want to do a Burning Man. Yes, ma'am, I still want to do a Burning Man. And we're so exclusive, and you know, I'm part of this ilk and that ilk. You're not. We need one another. And when you set up a thing, boundaries around you, when you really need people, they're not going to show up for you. Your village is going to be on fire, and they're going to tell you you can douse it out yourself because you don't need anybody, right? And then the last thing I want to share with you is just the way that you hear me talking to all of you is what I have done with my children. My youngest son was just named as an influencer in Ebony Magazine, one of 2 skincare influencers, and he is killing the game quietly. He's 24 years old, and how he's done it is because he's learned how to treat people well, walk humbly, carry his big stick, but walk humbly, and has always just been very intentional about his craft and his game. He said, Mommy, I think I'm never going to go back and work another job again. Graduated from Temple with a marketing degree, public relations, and he's knocking it out the park. So you all don't let anybody limit you and tell you what you can and can't do. Go for it. Right? Even if it means that you will have to struggle, because nothing comes without struggling. Nobody becomes wealthy without first starting somewhere. So don't let anybody make you think you just wake up one day and you go buy a Mercedes and you buy this and you buy that. And quite frankly, if you're not worth $9.5 million, we don't buy name brands, big ticket items anyway, because you want to let your money continue to grow for you. These are the things that I talk to you all about all the diggity dang time. Don't let what you put on your back and what you drive be the driving force around why people may think you are special. Your specialness comes from what is seeping out of your aura when people are around you and interacting with you. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. My next guest is going to be a serious topic, and I cannot wait for us to have it. But you'll hear after these messages. We'll be right back.
Are you hungry today? Have your taste buds been sufficiently pampered? Call Eatable Delight for succulent and juicy turkey wings, no-filler crab cakes, or tender smoky beef ribs. You can pick up, curbside, or get delivery in Philadelphia, Montgomery, South Jersey, Delaware, and Bucks County. Call 215-236-3900 or stop by 1540 Wadsworth Avenue. That's 215-236-3900 because even your taste buds deserve pampering.
Hello, my name is Andrea Delzell, and I've been using a wheelchair since I was 5 years old. If I had one message for the general public, it would be relax. Some folks get really flustered around disabled people, so they just pretend we're not there. I've actually had waiters talk to my companion and completely ignore me. People with disabilities just want the same respect and consideration as everyone else.
This is a message from United Spinal Association. Download our disability etiquette booklet at unitedspinal.org.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. T says about the Dell. The Dell is our living room where we literally dance as if no one's watching, especially at Lady B's basement party. Music makes us so high. She's absolutely right. I think I see you, T, at the Lady B basement party. People just act like they don't see me because I am singing every note, word for word for word. I hope they allow the audience to respectfully dance in their respective spaces because it isn't always so exciting or comfortable sitting in those seats the entire time when some artist just does it for you. That is so true. But they let me dance. I see people dancing all the time. So I'm looking forward to running into some of you at the Dell Music Center. Michael, let me know when my 3:25 guest is on. In the meantime, Woody, if you're listening, call me back, please. I have a couple of minutes. I don't know if she's coming in via Zoom or on the phone, but we'll figure it out, right? Some good news. Since we're having all this conversation, the Philadelphia Inquirer wrote this today. We the people. At 27, she owns 26 properties. Now, this is what I'm talking about. And is holding a contest to renovate rooms in 5 Philly homes. We the people. After inheriting her grandmother's South Philly house when she was 20, Jamiza MacIver Bennett became a real estate investor. It's King. Jamiza MacIver Bennett. Stephanie Farr wrote this. Meet Jamiza MacIver Bennett, a self-taught real estate investor and founder of Rosebuds Investment. Everything I have now I can only contribute to my belief system. All right, got it. I literally wait for my destiny to show up on my doorstep. I know it's coming like an Amazon delivery package. She says, I am a Virgo. I just keep going. Every day I ask myself, what would Beyonce do? I make my decisions based on what would Beyonce do. Jamiza MacIver Bennett will never forget how our grandmom Rose cried on the day they went to a notary together to add her name to the deed of her grandmother's South Philly home. Her tears flowed so much that the notary asked MacIver Bennett's grandmother if she was sure she wanted to go through it. She didn't hesitate. Yes, MacIver Bennett recalled her grandmom Rose saying, I'm just very proud. When her grandmother unexpectedly died a few months later of natural causes, MacIver Bennett suddenly found herself a first-time homeowner at the age of 20. The gift came with a wealth of questions and a bit of family drama, too, from relatives who thought they had greater claim to the property than she did. So thank God the grandmother put her name on the deed. Lord have mercy. They pretty much wanted to see me fail, she said. I showed them what failing forward looks like. MacIver Bennett, who was then working as a cashier at ShopRite, sold the property for $152,000 a few months later and used the money to invest in 9 more properties, then more and more. She is exactly who I'm talking about every single time I come on the air. Now, the 27-year-old married mother of 4 owns 26 properties in the Philadelphia area, 25 of them outright without a mortgage, and she's teaching others from her community how to do it too. I need to interview this sister because we keep talking about this over and over again, and we have people making us feel like it can't be done. It can be done. I'm going to pivot over here now and talk to a young lady that I actually met on the phone yesterday and did some investigation. Lisa Cyrus from the Regina Rose apartment evacuation. I am going to get her on the line. Lisa, are you there? Lisa?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Good afternoon, sis. How are you?
We're hanging in. How are you?
I'm good. So I want the WURD, welcome to the source. I want the WURD listeners to hear what you told me. But before you go there, I need you to know I called the owner of that property, introduced myself. He answered the phone, introduced myself to him, explained to him that I was a radio show host, that I was going to be doing an interview with one of the tenants from his apartment building, and he hung up.
Wow.
So then I drove to the apartment building. I did. And did my own investigation. So it doesn't look like there's anyone living in there right now. There's no one there. Okay. All right. So tell the WURD listening audience what you told me.
Okay. On Friday, June 25th, the entire building was evacuated. Initially, we were told that there was a gas leak and that we wouldn't have water. So it would have been deemed unsafe while they were fixing the gas leak. They guesstimated an evacuation of about 2 hours. So we're packing up because I'm on my way to work, and 10 minutes later, a fireman came to the door and said, we have to evacuate you right now. We found some structural damage. So we packed up what we thought was going to be for a stay out of our apartment from about Friday to Tuesday. Once out, we were told that the structure was literally hanging on by a hair.
Right.
That it could have collapsed and caused a domino effect in 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 weeks. It they didn't know, but the structure was literally just hanging on, and they found it at the basement. So the entire building would have just been a domino effect.
So, Lisa, I'm looking at the article, and it says they found major structural damage, and according to the landlord, we are all just making too much of it because of Miami, said Rose Myers. Rose, one of the tenants that live there?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Okay. And said, they're making too much of it because of what just happened in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
He has never reached out to us. We're going on day number 11.
Okay.
He has not reached out to us. He has been very uncooperative with the fire marshal, the code enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
And
what did the fire marshal tell him? Because according to you, Red Cross gave you all $500 gift cards to stay in a hotel over the weekend, correct? So one of those extended hotels.
Right.
Right. But after that, what's happening to the tenants who were there? Because, a hotel costs over $100 a night, depending on where you go.
I am currently here on day 11. And out of my own pocket, $2,005.30 is what I have paid. The fire marshal called him and advised him that under Pennsylvania state law, he has the responsibility to make sure that we are safely housed until he rectifies the problem. He said to the fire marshal, which the fire marshal couldn't say on the news, but I quote, F them, talking about us, F them. I have a business to maintain, and I'm not going to lose my business.
So what's happening now to all the tenants that were living there? How are you, aren't you protected in some way?
Well, I have renter's insurance, the responsible thing to do. My renter's insurance is saying that I may not have coverage because the structural damage is due to neglect and not a natural disaster. So what was the point, right, of being responsible and having insurance? The families of Regina Rose are scattered across the area. Extended stays in Horsham, hotel stays in Horsham and Fort Washington. A father and his son, I just found out earlier this morning, are sleeping in their van.
Oh, wow.
Another
There's an echo behind you. Is there a radio or something on?
No.
Okay. So a father and his child is sleeping in their van?
In their van. Another father is in a shelter in Northtown with his daughter so that he can get on the top of a housing list. Another neighbor, she and her fiance have had to split up and stay at separate places. She has their toddler son. One of my neighbors recently had a mastectomy, had her breast reconstructed, and while we were being evacuated, still with drainage tubes, she comes upon us being evacuated and had to stay with a family friend that had about 9 cats. Another neighbor came out, the firemen brought him out in a sheet. They carried him out in a sheet. He's on hospice. I can't tell you the devastation,
So I just need to tell you this, Lisa, because, when people are paying to live in places, they're expecting that certain things will be taken care of. There are some amazing landlords out here, but there are some who are absolutely not doing what they're supposed to do. We have run into a few of them over time. But it says that Fire Marshal Scott Lynch said the township became aware of the damage to the building on June 25th after crews responded to a gas leak. He said some of the floor joints were not pocketed properly in the I-beam, and we felt they were in imminent danger of that floor collapsing and not being able to sustain the weight above it. Temporary shoring has now been installed in the basement, but Lynch says if the damage had gone unnoticed, the building could have caved in. It is possible there was imminent danger of collapse, at least on one side of the basement where the flooring was. If that had happened, like you said, Lisa, it would have been just had a domino effect and could have been catastrophic. Action News was not able to reach the landlord, but the township said that it had been in touch with him, and they say he is not cooperating. Until he makes the necessary repairs, the tenants will have to find other places to stay, and the apartment building is off limits. So now tell me something. What recourse do you all have? Can you sue him at this point?
Okay, so at this point, we all are filing civil claims with the judge at our, the local magistrate. So we're all civilly suing him for our properties. I mean, when they were cleaning out the basement, they tore down the storage unit, and a lot of us lost a lot of items. We are also trying to see if we can come together to do a class action lawsuit. But the details will be discussed later on this evening, and then I'll have more of an idea of where we can go with this. But we're definitely going to sue him. And Cheltenham Township has made it known that they do not want him renting. So I don't know, how they're going to get him out, if they're going to continue to fine him until he's buried and fined. But they do not want him renting, and none of us are returning to the property.
Okay. Is there anyone in the township that's helping you now to,
No.
Because people are scattered all over the place, and no one in the township is able, none of your state reps, none of your township managers, nobody?
We'll see what they come up with tonight, but today, about 11 days out, nothing.
All right, so I know where this place is in Elkins Park. I drove down and saw it this morning, and I feel, is there a bridal place in the front of it too?
Exactly, there's a bridal.
I'm telling you, I drove right down there and saw it for myself. Did my own investigation. So what I'm mostly concerned about now is that the tenants and where you all going to stay in the meantime. This is beyond. Yeah, and and so this is why someone just texted me and said this is why judges are so important. Absolutely right, absolutely right, because according to my research, this person lives in Huntington Valley, which is one of the better homes in the Abington township. They're fabulous homes, and and so. For me, if you are going to be renting out a property, you want to make sure that property is up to snuff so that people, what would he have done if something had collapsed and people had lost their lives? You know what I mean? And it seems to me from reading this article, the fire chief is quite disgusted too.
The entire township of Cheltenham are disgusted. People are in disbelief. We are coming right out of a pandemic.
Right.
Resources are very low. So people are saying, call this one, call that one. We have. Resources are no longer available because of COVID-19. While Dan stays in a very lovely home on Red Lion Road,
let me ask you this: who is your state senator? Is it
Senator Haywood?
Senator Haywood. Is there any renters assistance, because that money, millions of dollars, was sent into the state, all states around the country? We have 37 million here in Philadelphia they're still trying to disperse to people. Has he offered renters assistance to any of you based on the situation that's going on with you all right now, so you can go find somewhere else to be?
As of today, right now, nothing. Everything that I have spent and that others have spent have been completely out of pocket. Tonight, again, we meet at the community center in Elkins Park Square at 7 p.m., and we are praying that our senator, our state rep, the commissioners, someone has an answer to our problem. Because even if we wanted to return to that building and resume our normal lives, that would not happen until roughly September.
Oh, wow. So you need housing.
We
you need
are
housing. So when you get to that meeting tonight, Lisa, be sure to ask them about the Renters Assistance Program that this is part of the CARES Act that was sent to the states. There is millions of dollars, and there has to be somebody in Montgomery Township and Cheltenham, Montgomery County and Cheltenham Township that can see this. There are 14 displaced families here that will be able to, they should be able to say, this is what we can do to help. This is not a good thing. And I'm mostly concerned about the people living in their cars, living in shelters, you know, trying to figure out. They were paying their rent and living fine. He was taking your money for rent, and now all of a sudden you have nowhere to live. That is heartbreaking. So what I'd like for you to do is when you have your meeting tonight, please come back on the air and let us know what came off that meeting, because we will keep our focus on this, and let's also see if we can find some lawyer. If anybody's listening that's willing to take this case pro bono to help these families, please do. If you have access to services that can help these families, please let us know. Lisa, how can people reach you? What's your email address?
My email address is Lisa Cyrus, CYRUS 74 at gmail.com.
Okay, so it's Lisa Cyrus 74 at gmail.com. So that's LISA CYRUS Cyrus 74 at gmail.com. Lisa, I have to believe that from this conversation today, someone will start to get the ball rolling, to pick up the phone to help you all. Nobody wants to be displaced, not in this time when so much is going on, and not when there's so many millions of dollars, CARES dollars here, that somebody can pull and say, look, these families need this more than anything else, and can expedite the process so that you can be in a space that's safe for you. Please stay in touch with us, okay?
Absolutely, I will. Andrea, thank you for having me on and allowing me to shed light on what is going on. People tend to think that when you live in Montgomery County that you're rich, or that, you know, oh, the county is rich and they'll reach out and they'll help the tenants. That is, that couldn't be even further from the truth.
Okay.
We have the same struggle as someone who's living in the inner city. We just have a different zip code.
Where's the meeting again? I'm running long now, but where's the meeting again?
It'll be at 8080 Old York Road in Elkins Park, PA, in the community room. Anybody is invited to come out. If you have help with resources, if you can point us into the right direction, if you are a lawyer, if you are a landlord, anybody, any help that you think we could benefit from, please come out to our meeting tonight. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay. All right. So you may see me This just depends on what I have going on. I need to come and see what they're saying to all of you because something has to be done on behalf of these families. Thank you so much, my sister. Keep me posted, okay? All right.
Thank
you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Okay. So if you want to help this family, if you know of someone who has services that can offer to these families, there are 14 families, some living in their cars, some living in a shelter, people are scattered all over the place. They were 1 minute living in their apartment, the next minute it was deemed unsafe, and the landlord is not being cooperative at all. I reached out to him, he answered the phone, then he hung up on me, because you know. But if you want to help the family, it's lisacyrus74@gmail.com. That's LISACYRUS74@gmail.com. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Are you an educator looking for a life-changing opportunity? Youth Build Philly Charter School might be the home for you. Apply to Youth Build to join a family of educators dedicated to learning and growing with young people. Check out current opportunities at youthbuildphilly.org or follow them on social media at YouthBuildPHL. Join Youth Build today. Youth Build is now accepting applications for the class of 2021.
The WURD Radio newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting WURDradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio newsletter.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. I'm getting text messages about that meeting, where it's happening. It's 8080 Old York Road in Elkins Park, PA, in the community room. I would put it up in the Facebook chat, but Facebook, if I put in an email address or a link to someone's website for their books, etc., they take it down and says that it goes against community standards. At 7 p.m. Starts at 7 p.m. tonight. 8080 Old York Road in Elkins Park in the community room starts at 7 p.m. tonight to see what's happening with these families and what's happening in Cheltenham Township if Senator Art Haywood and his team of people are able to get some of that renters assistance money to them, because it's hard. It's hard when you're paying your rent on time and these kinds of things happen. And imagine living in your car. Plenty of people are doing it right now, living in their cars and through no fault of their own. They were paying their rent. Building is unsafe, and the man is not cooperating. So we want to be able to help these families as best as we can. Okay? That was my last guest for the day. Woody, if you want to call back in, please do so now. Let me do this now while I am thinking about it, though. This is interesting. Under higher education, the Washington Post wrote this article, and I just, this made me smile. Nicole Hannah-Jones to join Howard faculty after UNC tenure controversy. Author Tanisha Coates is also set to join the faculty of Howard, a historically black university in the nation's capital. Journalist Nicole Hannah-Jones excuse me, and Tanisha Coates are joining Howard University's faculty. School officials announced Tuesday in a major recruiting victory for the private institution in the nation's capital. It was a simultaneous setback for the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill to lose Hannah-Jones after a long and remarkably contentious effort to recruit her. The surprising development came less than a week after trustees for UNC Chapel Hill voted to award tenure to Hannah-Jones. Initially, the public university hired her as a professor without the job protection status, but its board of trustees approved tenure for her on Wednesday after faculty members and students at Chapel Hill protested that she had been mistreated. In an interview Tuesday on CBS This Morning, Hannah Jones said that she would not join the UNC faculty. That's what I'm telling you. Teach people how to treat you. Bravo to her. Very difficult decision, she told Gayle King. Not a decision I wanted to make. The Pulitzer Prize winner said she believed the decision about a tenure for her at UNC was delayed because of political opposition to her work and discrimination against her as a black woman. So she went where she was valued. I tell you all the time, don't look at the coins. If you're not feeling valued and people are going out of their way not to value you, bounce. Because when you take the leap, even though if you don't see the stair, there will be a window open for you to land softly in a cushion. It's when you sit in fear and find yourself mired worrying about what people may think or whether you'll find another job or another opportunity. Opportunities are everywhere. We create them by our attitudes, our work ethic, and what we do. It's not our ego, people. All right. Susan King, Dean of UNC Chapel Hill Journalism School, who had championed tenure for Hannah Jones, said she was disappointed to lose her to another university. We wish her nothing but deep success and the hope that UNC can learn from this long tenure drama, because it was a drama. They didn't want to give it to her. Let's just call it what it is, right? And so she decided, Howard University saw this like, come on, you've been Tanisha coach, let's go. Let's just figure it out. So I'm great. Congratulations, sister. Proud of you. Woody, you're my last caller for today. What's going on, sir?
Well, don't you know that it doesn't feel good to be last on the list? But guess what? If it's your list, it's all right with me.
What's going on?
You got a heck of a list, young lady. I just want you to slow it down a little bit. You see what I'm saying? You're moving so fast that you see where you're from. You have to take time to slow it down. So that's all I'm telling you. Don't forget where you came from, because you're a little bit different than me. I keep telling you, I'm the immigrant. I mean, you're the immigrant. I'm the non-immigrant. I'm used to all this crazy stuff happening to us because it's a shame, but we had to go through a heck of a lot for 400 years of chattel slavery. And it doesn't just go away. So be blessed that you are able to be free, but take time to be in peace. That's all I want you to know.
Yes, sir. That's
Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Calling because I was concerned, and you know who loves you, baby. So I had to call and tell you that. But the young lady you had on, I'll wait for her to probably come back. I had some questions that I had to ask her, but we'll do that next time. In the meantime, I want you to get out there, like I said, find a nice cool tree tonight somewhere and sit up under it and take all this stuff off your person, all the cell phones, any electronics or whatever. Get it off your person and breathe in the fresh air. Take that mask off, breathe out your waste. Those are the things I want you to do, okay?
Yeah, well, thank you so much, because guess what, Woody? I am going to weed my lawn, my garden, when I'm done. It's therapeutic. I start playing with the worms and have a good old time talking.
Put your hands in that dirt. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, go back to what you already know is good, because sometimes you can get lost when you go so fast.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right,
bye-bye. Lord, I got a bunch of emails. Lord. Okay. I'm listening to WURD Radio today, and I'm listening to you. Of course, I'm not identifying who's sending this to me. And I would like to bring to your attention concerning the 2100 East William Street, addresses 2111, 2113, 15, 2123, 2120, and 2122. These are the addresses of houses and lots that are in the hands of Latinos that went to illegal sheriff sales and bought properties. This has been done in the last 2 years on 2100 block. The neighborhood is 130 years old, black community that was once surrounded by all white neighborhoods. Sister Andrea, they just recently upped the taxes on a couple of properties on the 2100 block, but they have different taxes on each property because my family owned the entire block at one point before his mother came sick and couldn't take any of the properties. The issue of gentrification is being pushed by Councilman Squiller's staff and others. I know this for sure. They're part of this nonsense. All right. So, I am going to, you all give me a lot of work to do. I don't just read your stuff. I start to do my research and ask questions, so I can give you some answers, or at the very least make myself more aware and knowledgeable of what's happening out here. It is hot. We're going into another heat spell. I want to thank this person for, I don't always get a chance to respond to some of these emails because, quite frankly, while I am doing this radio show, my hands are quite full with a lot of other things. I just make sure that I give this due justice every time I come on and make sure that I'm giving you what you need or what you want to hear. Lots and lots of things are happening in the city and beyond. And so before we can move forward and get anything done, we have to first take care of ourselves. And so that's all I'm asking you to do. It may not be riding your bicycle. It may not be doing yoga. It may not be anything other than taking a short walk, because those walks are good for us too, right? It may not be anything other than practicing kindness to the person next to you, saying hello. It costs absolutely nothing. Smiling. You know, smiling opens up the endorphins and opens up your face and make you, make life a little easier for you. And when you see someone that is going through something, for the love of God, leave the judgment at the door, right? We have so much to focus on. We shouldn't find time to be tearing people down too. My husband has this saying, 6 months of minding my own business and 6 months of leaving yours alone. When you do that, you don't have time to worry yourself about what other people are doing. You're going to look and take care of yourself and those around you. Coming up next is Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye. Bye, Michael.